I just finished eating.
What'd you have?
It's called gumbo stew.
Ooh. That sounds yummy. Bam, 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 bam. Mutant Bam Hammer, 1 minute gives everybody a chance. Oh yeah. It might be too long.
There is nothing wrong with 3 intros.
No, 3 intros are where it's at. Gotta give people time. It is the longest. This part, we gotta shorten this part up. Is there a way?
Yeah, but there's a nice fade out here.
Okay. It fades. Fading quick. Okay. I mean, yeah, all right. We can work with that. Soul Assassin, you are right, sir.
Yeah, I really need to work on this.
Yeah. It's definitely back in the day. All right. We're getting there, though. We've only been live now for almost 3 minutes, and we have not begun. That is textbook. That is textbook, my friend. Oh, there will be fun tonight, everybody. Welcome to the dump.
Huh.
Hey,
I made it.
Mark, what's up,
I made
man?
it.
You made it before everybody.
As usual, just sliding into home plate, man.
I love it. Welcome
Hello.
to the show. Welcome to the show. Tell them where they can find you, Mark. It's good to see you, buddy.
On my channel, Mark with a C. That's right. I changed it from, Mark with a C. Come on by. You know, all of the, things. I talk about current events. I talk about geek, nerd, culture, whatever's on my mind. That's what I do.
That's what I like to hear.
I try to make it as entertaining as possible.
See, that's what's important. It's the entertaining part, people. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some people out there that they sound really smart and they're really good, and damn it, they have way more subscribers than me, and I actually love listening to them, but you got to have fun.
Yeah, man. I sing, I dance, I do all that.
There
just for you.
Hello, my
Just for
darling.
you.
Hello, my baby.
Oh, my rhinestone gal.
Yeah,
boy.
that's what I like. And Culture Casino, how are you tonight, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good. Like I knew that I would.
Wow. Okay.
There
You
you
went
go.
with that. I got you.
Poet.
Orange Hat Reviews is here. So we were going to bring up celebrities. So tonight's show, we got you. Raging Rhino is going to stop by in a little bit. So we're going to hold off on talking the cruise, Galactic Cruise, until we talk to him.
Ooh.
But Orange Hat Review had a great quick video about Joy Behar and celebrities and how they're responding to this A crossing of the borders in Asia, we'll say. Russia attacking the Ukraine.
You can't say you just got it.
I can't say that.
No.
No.
Really? You can't.
I said it.
You cannot say either names of the countries. You won't be monetized.
You know what, man? That just goes to show you how messed up this world is.
Really?
Really?
In a place where we're supposed to have freedom of speech.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can't
speak
say
about it.
what is actually true.
Right.
It's not like you're making some shit up. You know what I
Right.
mean? This is actually stuff that's going on in the world. But
Today.
No, la, 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 you can't say it.
Right.
Yeah,
and
well,
we're not
guys,
even really going to talk about it, though. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Listen to the authoritative sources, my friends. I mean, that's what they want you to do on YouTube, which we're very busy publishing all kinds of misinformation all day and misinformation in the news reports all day. And then realized, oh, crap, we were pushing misinformation all day. Like Proud Boys from Australia were headed over to this conflict zone, which was complete baloney sausage. They fell for it hook, line, and sinker.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
That is so ridiculous. So we're not even going to be talking about that. That is actually happening in the world. World event. Nothing we're making up.
Nope.
Even though you really don't find a lot of video out on this YouTube, but TikTok will show you video. Like, that's what blows my mind. But anyways, it's the response.
Right. Yeah.
But it's the response from certain celebrities. Like Joe, like what I was saying, Orange Hat Review had a great, he has a great video. I'll try to make sure we share it. But he talks about how he plays that she's upset with it because it's going to screw up her European trip. She's going to go to Italy. It's screwing up her trip.
And that's what's important.
That's what's important. Not the people, losing it all.
Hey, if I just want her to actually live up to her promise to wear a mask forever and ever.
Right.
She hasn't done that. She was in a restaurant gabbing away the other day. Somebody got some great pictures and video of her just chatting away with no mask. You know, these people are bullshit.
Right. Oh, Elmo, we have to talk about that. Someone sent me an awesome, the part in Dune where he goes to the Mother Supreme, but it's Elmo.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
Yeah,
that is hilarious.
Genius.
Oh, genius. So anyways, and then we have this gentleman. I'm going to share this right now.
I want to rock right now. I'm Rob Basin. I came to get down.
This young man, John Cena, facing backlash for tone-deaf Peacemaker tweet as Ruski jumps over ukulele. We'll say, I don't know.
Anyway. Yeah, ukulele. Yeah, that's how
ukulele.
Ukulele. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Bear and ukulele. Or moose and squirrel.
There we go. So, I don't know if you guys have seen his tweet.
I didn't see it.
You haven't seen it? Okay, so it's fantastic because, all right, let's find the tweet. Hold on. We'll bring it up right now. I'm sorry. I'm a little, here it is. Where does he say it? So, John Cena wants everyone to know that he's not, wants everyone to know that he's in Peacemaker. So he tweeted out amidst all of this. He said, if I could somehow summon the power of the real life #Peacemaker, I think this would be a great time to do so. This is the guy who apologized to China for saying the first country they're stopping in on the Peacemaker tour or Suicide Squad maybe, was Taiwan. And he apologized in Chinese to the Chinese because he called them a country.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. This guy, and like, he's trying to sell his Peacemaker show. I don't know how that makes you guys feel. I like, even when I read it the first time, before I read anybody's responses, I just felt like, dude, really? Come on. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I mean, if I could somehow summon the powers of a real life Peacemaker. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of ways you could take it, right? It's like either a Peacemaker or him being the Peacemaker.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, like he's kind of hoping that he can, bring some peace, or that someone can bring some peace.
Right.
A peacemaker, so to
But
speak.
see, Peacemaker is a dumbass who will kill men, women, and children in the name of peace.
Yeah.
I mean, the character doesn't line up with what I think he's trying to say. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I'm just taking like the literal, like the word.
Right.
But when you look in, because I haven't even watched that show. I have no desire or temptation to watch it whatsoever. Right. So I'm not even familiar with it like that,
It's so bad. It is not good. It is not good. I watched the whole thing because, I borrow HBO Max from somebody. And it was terrible. It was terrible. What do you think there, Culture Casino?
Well, I think he's tone deaf. I think tone deaf is the correct way to assess what he did. I agree with everything Mark said. But it's bigger than that. I mean, all of these people are completely oblivious to, anything that anybody that's a typical human on this planet is dealing with on a day-to-day basis. This guy went from WWE, where he was treated as a superstar his entire life and coddled. Right. He did have to at one time struggle up the chain, because if you know anything about that world, it does take you have to fight to get up that ladder.
Right.
But once he got there, largely his life has been, trying to expand his brand across multiple different types of media.
Right. But as the American hero.
Well, I mean, sure. He went from, the ring to films, and then of course now television and films with this Peacemaker show. Right. But, again, you're making a bad guy. This is the problem with Hollywood. These people are now identifying with the heels that they're playing. You're making a bad guy in Peacemaker into a good guy, which has always bothered me. Right. And as much as I've heard people praise this particular show, I don't care at all. But what I do care about is this kind of tone deaf, brain dead, lack of critical thinking reaction that we get from these people. I mean, Joy Behar aside, John Cena aside, you can go through Twitter all day long today and look at all the completely misinformed or underinformed people out there. And you can also cite every single piece of hypocrisy that they've ever spouted out there. Right. They don't want to protect our borders. They want to protect Ukraine's borders. Well, we've got a different kind of issue, but it's still a border control problem that has been festering here in this country for generations. Right. We also have people saying, well, what are you going to do with an AR? Why do you need an AR? Right. Because again, they think the initials are, assault rifle,
which has nothing
which is not what it is. They think it's a fully automatic machine gun, which it also isn't. But now they're rooting for the country that's handing their citizens select fire weaponry. Right. Because Kalashnikovs have, select fire capability, which means they can fire semi-auto or fully auto. Right. And, again, a lot of people don't know the distinctions here. So what do I think?
A lot of people.
What do I think? I think that, again, you're going to find this across the entire celebrity sphere. And I think we're going to have to continue to call it out. And again, you have very thoughtful people that you can listen to, like Mark and mostly Scott, if he can get words together properly.
Yeah, at times.
But you have thoughtful people like that I, like I said, I pay attention to all the time. I have a smart group of friends. I like to say that. I have a smart group of friends that I get to hang out with, and whether or not we agree on everything or not, we support each other. And, we will inform each other's arguments better. That's the other way to go about it. So there you are.
You can't use your mouth for talking, Scott. Yeah, I have issues. I definitely have issues. So Peacemaker, whatever. The guy's an idiot. I don't know if you guys want to see some of the responses. Most people just point out, dude, poor taste. Also, your character is not that good, a good guy. Another comment said, I'm just saying there is never appropriate moment to say this, especially now. So it's mostly people were actually not too, I was more of a dick to the guy than anybody. But he did. I have more. So our friend Brightest Day made a great little 59-second clip that I'm going to share right now.
Yeah, dude's killing it. With
he is killing it.
And his videos.
Yep, he's doing great. So we're going to share this real quick. Just a little of Twitter and the morons in Twitter the other day. So you got Russian tank is, burning right outside my house. These blanks will pay. And this person responds, that word that you use, don't use it. It's an insult to, those people. Okay, this person is in the middle of a war.
Yeah. Yeah, don't be checking their speech, dumbass.
Right. Like, your first world issues is not something they're dealing with right now.
Yeah. Again, this is more tone-deaf thought process.
Right.
It just goes to show you what all of these years of thought policing has done to humanity.
Yes.
We're there. What was it? Demolition Man?
Yes.
Where, you could get in trouble for saying something, like something wrong or whatever.
Yep.
They give you a ticket for cussing, things like that's where we are right now. It doesn't matter the point you're trying to make, just the way that you're making it. Watch the way that you speak.
Yep. My wife and I had a discussion today in the car, and it was, everybody's so focused on their gender, their sexuality, this and that. Like, why do we have to always talk about these things? Why do I need to know everything about you just because it's so it's narcissistic. Yeah. I don't care that much to know this much about strangers.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, you identify as a snowflake or a kumquat or whatever I could give to. I don't care.
Because you're supposed to lead with your character. That's why. It's like I'm not trying to lead with my race. I mean, obviously, in my case, someone is just going to know that, but there's no need for me to just announce myself. There's no need for the pronouns and all that. All human beings are interested in is what kind of human being are you? Yes. Are you trustworthy? Are you a liar? Are you a hard worker?
Right.
Things like that. That's what's relevant to life.
Do you support your family? Do you support your community? Things like that. Like, it's important to me who you are as a person.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Like, this idea that I need to know what happens behind closed doors. Why don't we just leave it there? We had somebody on the show recently that, he conservative aunt, and he's a gay conservative, and he hates pride parades. And I was like, why, man? And he's like, because that does not show the best of the gay culture. What it does is show men in thongs hooking up in the streets, people doing things they usually wouldn't do because they got this crazy weekend, and that does not show the best of us.
Yeah.
And, we should be showing, no matter what community you think you're a part of, be the best you can be. Are you making that community better? Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
What does the commercial used to say? You never get a second chance to make a good first impression.
Right. There you go.
So, you see people, and, I'm the type of person, when I roll up on any type of social setting or whatever, a lot of times I don't say anything. I watch. I watch. I look around. I watch the people who are there, see who I might want to associate with. Mm-hmm. And there are so many people that you hear them before you ever see them, and it's just, it's
I may
ridiculous.
Be one of those people. I might have that issue at times, but I understand exactly what you mean.
Right.
Our boy Abu Nas for $5 says, salute to this awesome panel here. I call this badass group 3 the hard way. Hope you all have a great stream. We'll catch the playback. #Dark Council. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Abu.
Yes, we were trying to. I love him too, man. We're trying to hook up for a Monday night interview, kind of like interview, but doing this also, stream that I started doing. But we've been having issues with it. But he's awesome, man. He's always like right there, responding with DMs. That's what I love about like you. There's certain people that I feel like are like that level ahead of me, that always are just like right there for you when you need them, like just boom. And I respect that, and I thank you for that.
Well, that part, definitely. Thank you.
Oh, man. Much appreciated.
Yeah, it's good to see El Presidente, El Jefe in the house.
El Jefe. Do you know what a plethora is, Jefe? You ever see, what is that movie, Three Amigos? Love it. Anywho.
Yeah.
Let's finish this off. Brightest Day is in the chat. Thank you for letting me use your video, my friend.
Video, bro.
Yeah. We'll share it out in a minute. Okay. I don't know how you feel about this, either one of you, but I'm wondering. The last thing I worry about is Putin's white privilege. He's way worse than just, he don't care what color you are. If he hates that group, he hates that group. But what do you guys think?
Oh boy.
what? I don't even know how any of this,
yeah.
how you get one place from the other place. This is the problem, you know. It just where is the correlation between your thought processes? I don't get it. You probably should line us up on the side rather than underneath this so we can read
okay.
Magnificent moment of
I
this.
apologize.
There we go. And remember the period on the keyboard is the frame at a time.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I always forget that. Yeah. So this is what confuses me. Putin, maybe he did use, I don't know. What I do know is he was ex-KGB, and anybody who came up against him had fatal accidents.
FSB now is what they're called.
FSB, okay. Anybody who came up against him disappeared, had accidents, made it into a goulash, no matter who they were.
A goulash? That's gross. Or you mean a gulag?
Gulag. Did I say goulash? I can't fucking speak.
No,
you know what I'm trying to say. Throw in things there now. Please, culture, talk.
About what? No, you're right. I mean, again, it's like the names can change, like of the organizations, the 3-letter names can change, but the people are all still, you know, controlling things. Right. And we have the same problem in this country and other countries around the world. So it doesn't really matter. The people in power, you have soft power and then you have actual power. And right now, what we're seeing is a lot of soft power. The leaders of the world, and I use that in quotes, right? In quotations, because we don't have a lot of those at the moment.
Right.
But the leaders in the world are soft power now. They're not really the people calling the shots. And I know that's going to be, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, except we always seem to be right when we talk about these bigger issues.
Right.
And
isn't that crazy?
This was not a decision that this man did on his own. He collaborated with others in order to arrive at this conclusion. And this all comes down to, and people are going to hate it, a grab for petroleum, for fuel, for oil. That's what this particular maneuver is about. And again, I mean, if he's and again, he's being portrayed in a particular way, whether it's true or not. But 90% of what's out there right now is propaganda. Everything that you're seeing out there on Twitter and even on the news, mainstream media, right, which I call the corporate content creators, the lamestream, they're paid to lie to you, right? They've been wrong. 90% of the information we're getting is wrong. Even the AP had to actually write a story today that said it's really difficult to cover this because there's so much bologna sausage around it.
Right.
There's bologna sausage around every war. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Right.
But this is on a scale that we haven't seen because of the availability, the prevalence of social media, and the ability for people to, send misleading information back and forth, including the picture of President Zelensky, which was from over a year ago, supposedly. So, you have all.
He's the president of Ukulele. And he is like, if people that don't know who he is, he was like the Jon Stewart of that country. He was a comedian in a way, like would respond to political stuff with humor and became their president and is kind of a badass.
Yeah, it's weird how people that are critical thinkers do a great job in leadership positions. I wonder why that is.
I don't know. Yeah, that is a weird thing, isn't it? Makes you question that one. They even reported that in Russia, they are not even showing anything to do with any of this, just your normal Saturday morning cartoons and TV and everything.
Yeah, in Bearland.
Yeah. What is up, Raging Rhino? How are you, my man?
Hello.
How you doing, brother? Thank you for coming on.
Long time no speak. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Hello, chat. Hello, Mark. Hello, culture.
What's up, brother?
Raging Rhino. What's up, brother?
Yeah, doing well. It's so funny.
Sir.
I've been listening in on your conversation. I only woke up less than an hour ago. But I've been working on this video. But let me just explain a story I thought of while I was listening to you guys. It's so funny. For weeks now, I've been sitting down and just writing these scripts to these videos that I've been making. And while I do that, like I'll get home from work, I'll eat something, feed the cats, turn the TV on, mute the TV, and sit there and just work on my scripts, right? With all of this stuff that's been happening around the world, or with Russia and stuff like that, like I've had randomly I've just had TV on in the background, and it'll eventually get to the time that the news is supposed to be on. So the news comes on. I usually try and change it because I hate the fucking mainstream news that I don't even want to have it on the TV. Yeah. But it was on. Muted volume, nothing like this, like no volume whatsoever. I'm sitting there writing my script. I look up and the reporter, I got to come on screen. The reporter is literally like doing this, but it was really fake acting. Like you could tell that they were acting. Like there was actually
Was he like pretending like he was dodging bombs or something?
Yeah. It was so funny. It was so funny to see because again, with no sound, it made it so obvious, you know?
Right.
Anyway,
you see a lot of that.
Yes, you do, right, Mark?
Well, it's let me ask you all a question. Have you ever watched a sitcom, a modern sitcom, in the last 3 or 4 years with the volume off, just the subtitles? Have you ever done that?
No,
I'm not a fan of sitcoms.
Well, but I'm saying is what you'll discover is that without the laugh track, right now, Hollywood has become so much of a cynical craven entity that the characters are not they're not it's not humor, it's meanness. They are constantly mean to each other in the form of humor.
Not only that culture, I feel like the audience can almost predict now what's going to happen.
Oh, sure.
It's become that predictable through our entertainment that you can literally sit there and say what's going to happen next.
But you can see the evolution of it if you watch the history of sitcoms, right? If you start with Friends, you can see that towards the end of that run, they started to get into some critical humor, critical of others' humor, right? You know, somewhat mean, not mean-spirited, right? King of Queens, not necessarily as bad. King of Queens wasn't necessarily as bad, but it just kind of kept going downhill.
Right.
You know, and if you watch Seinfeld critically without any laugh track or, you know, the quirkiness of it all, it's incredibly mean. It's not humor. It's not good natured. There's a lot of mean spiritedness in
selfishness.
These shows. Yeah. And they're leveraging their narcissism as a form of entertainment. I don't know. Again, that's just my media observations because that's where I come from. But it's just, you know.
I think that's why Friends has it's still one of the most streamed sitcoms to this day. And I feel like that's because it's such a timeless thing that even if you've watched it, like I've watched episodes multiple times and still at those moments that you know are coming, you will belly laugh.
Yes.
Like it's so timeless in some of those moments that
even watching, like I watched the cheesy holiday special of Happy Days.
Oh yeah.
And you know, like, okay, the Fonz doesn't have any place to go. He's lying, everybody. You should read into it. He has no place to go. And you know, but even at the end where they're all joking and stuff, and then Mr. C was like, you know, you could come with us and be part of the family tonight. You know, like that moment of pure wholesomeness. You don't get that even anymore.
No, you haven't gotten that since the Cosby Show. I think the Cosby Show. Go ahead.
Laugh tracks creep me out. You know, that's why I say I'm not a fan of sitcoms because somebody told me, I don't know how true this is, but the actual laugh track, the canned laughter, a lot of that has been canned since like the 50s and the 60s. So you're listening to dead people.
Dead people laughing.
I never thought of that. That just makes it very creepy for me. You know what I mean? Like these
laughing along with dead people.
They don't know what they're laughing at now. You're just parading these dead people's laughter around, you know, like
they're phantoms.
Interestingly enough, the person who adjusted my perspective on this was the boss because she's brilliant, right? And so she's like just turn the volume off, and I was like, wow. And so like I just started to chronicle where things kind of seemed to go off the rails. And I mean, you know, it's not like when we watched like great comedy, right? We haven't had a great comedy in a long time because it's cynical humor. It's mean spirited,
right?
And it's shock humor too. You know, whoever can say the most like out of the blue thing, you know, when you're least expecting it. I get, you know, there.
Did any of you guys watch 2.5 Men?
Yeah, I watched it.
Hey, Mr. Greg Gregory.
It was reasonable.
Mr. Greg Gregory, how you doing?
Early on.
How you doing? Rhino, I'm the Australian representation here, mate. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Hey, I got an invite.
I'm cheating on you.
I got
I'm
an
cheating
invite.
on you.
Oh, that's all right.
This is awkward. I didn't realize my two Aussies would be
Who
here at the
speaks
same
first?
time.
You speak first. I speak first. Yeah.
Good day.
I can't
All right,
remember
let's
what
do
we
it.
were saying.
2.5 Men, you were saying, Rhino.
Oh yeah, 2.5 Men. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, it was.
And it was that hard hitting, like attacking. It was
But-
always
but-
him being like the Archie Bunker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But again,
I
That's the
think it's
tragedy
earlier
of
than that.
Charlie Sheen, man. Charlie Sheen is actually a talented dude. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's just a shame that, his lifestyle goes the way it goes, but,
He could have been like Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. was as bad as he was.
yes.
You know,
Either
and he
his
got clean.
lifestyle turned into that show, or the show was his lifestyle.
Yeah, art imitating. Yeah, exactly.
It was one or the other.
Especially in the last season, the last episode as well. But I mean, to that, I think it actually goes back further. Like I went and watched Full House, and the mean spiritedness of the kids. I mean, the whatever the young ones, the twins. Like I always forget their names.
Michelle.
Yeah, the ones that killed Ledger.
Yeah.
Those ones.
Ashley,
Um,
Mary
What's that
Kate,
killed Ledger? So
yeah,
right,
like
one of them.
Scarlet Witch's big sisters.
Yeah, big
yeah.
sisters.
But like all their stuff is pure mean spirit. Like if anyone else was to say that, it's terrible, it's disgusting, but it comes across as endearing because it's coming from a child. But when you hear it now, especially as a father, it's just like there's no way in the world I'd let my kid talk to anyone like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that's for me. That's when I can really remember when this whole idea of like a mean, cynical sort of humor and mean-spirited sort of humor. Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you talk about mean-spirited humor and like how it can also like obviously seep into the culture and the way people. Because I think about it, right? I'm 80s baby. Had a 2-year-older sister than me. Obviously, growing up through our early teens, through the 90s and things like that. She was always like really sort of mean to me. Like I didn't really care too much. I had my own sort of friends and things going on. She was always sort of nice to me when it was just us two.
Yeah.
But when it was in a group of people, she was always sort of mean, right?
Yep.
And I always wondered why. Like even it was funny. I was watching Uncle Buck the other day.
Oh, great movie.
Right? And the young teen girl?
Yep.
Right? She was my sister. She just, she was like, I don't care about you. I don't care about you. Like, and that's what she saw. My sister saw on the screen, and that's how she thought that she was supposed to act. And it was so funny. It was like just a few weeks ago, I was watching, and I'm like, man, that is my sister.
That's crazy.
There's
so much that could go into that answer right there.
But see, it's funny that we talk about mean-spiritedness. I wonder if the comedy was done through a lightheartedness and that sort of thing, and it was a bit more, I don't know, not so mean, but would then it not be as punchy in the laughter?
Right,
Would it
the
not be as
actors
funny?
went with it. Yeah,
Right?
let me just read this
Go
real
on,
quick.
sorry.
Yeah.
No, don't be sorry, dude. Not at all. Hey, you make the show look better. All of you do. Ruben Christopher Haynes for $20. I just didn't want to make him wait. That's $20. Hail, my friends. Ventured out for the first time today. Went to a sports bar and watched TV for the first time in years. My God, every commercial was woke. What the F? So sad. You don't need to pander to every group. Yeah, it is. It is pandering. And we have Tom in the chat. Tom, I sent you a link a while back. Tiger Blood.
Oh, talking about Tiger Blood. Yeah, no, it's look, and it's weird because again, listen to like when Ords and I are playing on a gaming stream, right? And we're ripping each other, right? But that comes from a place of love. That's brotherly love, right? Because at the end of the day,
that's good ribbing.
Yeah, exactly. Because at the end of the day, you're done with the game stream. You had a great time. Your audience had a great time, and it wasn't really at the other person's expense. It's a different kind of humor, and
absolutely,
and it's I think it's permeated culture, as I think Rhino said, in a weird way, because people are like, because of social media and the internet and everything else, you're so disconnected from your fellow man. Unless you're in a forum, like a forum like this, where we're sitting here talking to each other, actually seeing each other face to face. I'm not going to say something just ridiculous to Rhino just because of the part of Australia he lives in.
Right.
Right. Victoria, man.
Fucking Victoria. Yeah. You know what the difference is, though? You are friends that are on a stream together, and not a TV show that is geared for families to sit in front of and watch. There's a big difference.
Yeah, and the larger point is, I mean, this gets us back to Joy Behar.
Joy Behar.
This gets us back there because this this is a person who attacks everybody that doesn't agree with her.
Right.
I mean, if she seriously, is this someone who will walk into a room and start attacking people that same way?
Right.
And not expect any backlash? Of course not. Because in polite society, if somebody comes at you that way, somebody's going to take that sideways and change your mind with, a ham sandwich.
Right. Right.
Dude, they don't like to give people room to think, man. It's like we don't have much time to think in this life. The way things are now, we have everything being thrown at us at such a ridiculous rate. Like speed is just like coming at us all the time.
Yes.
So half the time we can't even process. Like there are people who are actually afraid to be in silence, to hear their own thoughts. Gotta listen to something. Gotta turn on the TV. Gotta turn on the radio.
Have my face on the screen.
Yeah. Always got to be recording myself. Got to be like, the idea that your whole life, I mean, yes, we stream. Yes, we make videos about topics. The idea that you always have to be on camera, always have to be on Instagram, always have to be on, it's I tried to keep up when I first started doing YouTube. It's freaking exhausting. Mm-hmm. It's exhausting. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, I can't either.
My channel will fail a little bit because of that, because I will not just go that extra mile. I can't do it. Like
I would need to hire someone
to
be like, here's all my media stuff. Just, don't make me look like a fucking idiot.
Please.
Please.
Yeah, don't get me ratioed again.
Yeah, don't get me ratioed again.
But Rhino,
noble thing.
Yeah.
Say that again, Mark.
I'm sorry, Mark.
I said inspiring thought is a noble thing.
Right.
Yes,
for all of us on this panel who create content, that's part of our objective, to be able to inspire thought. That's the reason why they don't like us the way that, you see them coming at us, people who are in charge of all of these IPs that we love so much, Star Wars, Star Trek, all of it, because they want to dictate to people. They want to tell us what we think.
Right.
But we exist to tell you what we think, and we have a comment section to inspire others. At the end of every video, what do we all say? Like, share, subscribe, get in the comment section. We want to hear it.
Right.
I want
give
the
it to
downvote,
us.
I want that.
Tell me what you think. Just don't tell me to go and cry more. Stop telling me to go and cry more.
Give it to me, baby.
Look, all I want at the end of the day is for someone to comment on one of my videos and engage in a conversation, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it'd be nice if somebody watched one of your videos and commented for once, right?
Oh, you have a channel, Culture?
Yeah, I mean, he's begging for it now, like just one. He's like, just give me one.
Yeah, you should probably hire yourself a good editor. That might help.
Look at that shill over there. He's got Jay's hat on, Gary's shirt on. I mean, what the fuck?
Do you have a lot of pollution there at the moment?
Did you read the Heather Morgan How to Succeed on YouTube fucking
book? I don't even know who that is.
You don't know who Heather Morgan is, considering you're Mr. fucking Crypto?
I have no idea who that is.
You are fucking... You're serious.
No. Was she that porn star, that blonde chick that did the HBO, like, how to do sex things?
That was Meghan Markle. No.
Fuck, dude. He is supposed to be Mr. Bitcoin, and you don't know who the fuck I'm talking about? We're talking about one of the individuals who pulled off the single biggest fucking
$3.6
in history.
Oh, the cringe rapper.
Yeah, the cringe rapper.
$3.6 billion in crypto.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
We talked about it on this show.
Something on that. Maybe it was off actually this show I was watching.
Yeah, we talked about it on this show.
By the way, hi, Ryan. A long time no talk.
Yeah. Good to see you, Tom.
Oh, you guys are so
disappointed in Culture.
I'm trying to have fun. You guys, fun.
I say we have some fun.
Just going back to what we were talking about with the with like people leaving comments. with like people leaving comments in videos, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if a person comes in and they disagree with what I'm saying or whatever, but they're coming in with just a level head, their points.
Yep.
Even if I sit there and disagree with them, I'll more than happy jump in there and just have a normal conversation. And I won't end it with something like, go suck your dad's dick or something like that.
Right.
Right?
Sorry, I wrote that last time. I was upset.
Wow.
I will have that conversation. But when people are coming in just going, oh, go and cry some more or go out and touch some grass or whatever it is, it's like, come on, let's actually have a conversation about this. If you actually disagree with what I'm saying,
right,
then let's talk about it. But no,
those
you
are the
can't
mindless
have that
ones.
anymore.
Yes,
That's
those are
right.
the mindless
That's exactly
ones.
right.
You know, those are the ones who just can't go off script. So they don't want you to go off script. So they'll tell you to shut up. You know, I said it many times. Every time you want to speak up, somebody wants to tell you to shut up. Anytime you want to stand up, someone wants to tell you to sit down.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
like
You know?
as I said, as a child you're taught to walk and talk. As an adult, I want you to sit down and shut up.
It's a damn shame, but that's the way it is. So you have to be a little bit stronger, to be able to do this, have thicker skin, to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to contribute to a world where we can actually speak our mind and have something to express, not just regurgitating what you heard on one of these other, cable news stations.
Except if you're comparing two pictures from Star Wars, we can't do that, can we, Rhino?
No, you can't.
Speaking of Star Wars.
Speaking of Star Wars, that was a good stinger. Yay, because Tom's here.
Look over there, a segue.
Hey, Tom, I'm here, man.
Yeah,
they got to talk about
I
Star
have
Wars.
to.
If they don't talk about Star Wars, I will bring it to Star Wars. Don't worry.
He always does. We're going to talk about the Plan B option soon. But I just want to go over a couple bookmarks I have. This is what you get.
It.
Yeah,
Oh
this is
my
what you
God.
get for $6,000. Let's take a listen to the restaurant. Okay, this guy right here, I didn't even realize it. He's their channel is corny, but it's one of my favorite. They're called the oh God. Hey brother, I can't remember the name of the channel.
Did he get to go for free?
Yes.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they talk they tell you that at the beginning of their thing, and then they talk very highly about it.
Yeah, I'm not listening to anyone that got a free ticket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see the food menu? What they
Oh,
have
well,
there?
if you could
No,
find
I
it a
haven't
little
seen
bit
anything.
better, because I haven't been able to find it. I'd like to look at it, but let's watch.
They have
This
real ice from Hoth.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow! Oh wow!
that's amazing.
Ice shards from Hoth in your drink, in your
I
15
hope
to
that
20
I
ml
hope they
drink.
didn't pick up any bits of ice from where Han cuts open the.
Well, not just that.
Yeah.
How many banthas had to die to bring us that ice?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Wow.
It's
Not only
blood
that,
ice,
it's
kids.
it's a $30 drink with no alcohol in it.
and you
The
got to pay
fuck?
extra, and you got to
And
pay extra on
you
top
pay
of your
Yep.
your $6
Yeah.
grand. for
And
those
not,
drinks.
not just that, they actually have a blue titty milk in there.
Right.
$30
with
for
a
a
blue
Coke?
titty
I can
sorbet
get
on
blown
top.
for $30.
Is that an exit sign? There's no
There
exit
is.
signs in Star Wars.
Oh no, it's fully immersive.
No,
Yeah.
no. I look to that extent. You have to by actual
I know.
construction law. You wouldn't be able to get away with it otherwise.
I've heard it's very
Okay.
immersive for the cheese that they do. So again, the guy right here, they are I forget the name of their channel. I'm blanking right now, but they
Ordinary
talk.
Adventures.
No, they're the hey brother. I can't remember their names though. But they were talking about how they the one thing they were disappointed in was that they didn't have like they were expecting like Super Carlin Brothers. They were expecting like side quests like that, like if you were really into it, because it's immersive. Like the staff is someone's from Tatooine and they have their own story. Someone's from Dagobah, have their own story. They lived in a swamp with Yoda, lovers.
You
know
just
what's
wait until you
got-
see Chewbacca.
Okay.
That'll be the
can
thing of
I-
nightmares.
I just want to make a couple of quick observations, right?
Okay.
This is supposed to be fully immersive. It's supposed to be Star Wars.
Right.
The first thing I notice when I either look at the rooms or look at this room that we're looking at now is orange.
Very
That's
orange.
That's all I see.
BB-8, dude.
There's no I don't see how going from different rooms to different rooms and having this, it doesn't feel very immersive. It certainly doesn't feel like Star Wars.
Right.
Just the backgrounds and that sort of thing. But also, like, you see that pillar right in the middle of the screen there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, could you imagine if there was just a little electric spark thing sparking up between those two pillars, and how cheaply you could just do something like that?
Easily. You remember those balls? Tom, you remember those balls that you put your hand on and the electricity would like go up to your hand?
I know that's something like really small and tiny, like
just some kind of a Jacob's ladder effect is what you're talking about.
Look, I've been thinking about taking up crack
on my balls
for a while now, and I just want to let you know, Scott, that it's your fault that I'm going to go start doing crack now.
Why? Because we talk about Star Wars every time you come on?
Because of this. Yes, you've turned me into a crackhead now. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. I love you.
Star Wars talking.
So they're jamming. Star Wars. This is from Steph. Steph was showing us this.
Captain, where is she?
I don't know what you mean.
You talk, or they scream.
Like, I want to walk by and be like, can I get more towels? You know, like, this is not... Go ahead.
This is an Imagineering trick, right? To put them up higher, so you can't adjust for scale.
Yeah.
So you can't see the flaws, so you can't see the special effects that are hidden that allow them to do some things on the ground, on the floor. It changes your perspective. This is a common trick when it comes to these kinds of things. It's also how they hide the drag effect. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. What bothers me too is that, kind of going back to what Rhino said, they said it's been rehauled and updated. I wish it didn't look so clean. I want to maybe a couple of blaster shots.
What's with this peach fucking wall color? Like, and then the orange going around that peachy color.
The lighting.
You just got like panels and backgrounds that look like they're from an early Star Trek set.
Yeah.
This is all theatrical lighting. It changes throughout the entire course of this presentation.
Yeah.
But
he's talking about just painted rooms. They're white and orange.
No, he's not wrong there. But you're right. The lighting design changes over time. But yeah, you're not wrong. This, to me, if you look at the way this is all designed and laid out, this is basically, if you've ever been to Disneyland or Disney World, this is Space Mountain. They took their cues from Space Mountain.
You want to see somebody run? They're running.
Are these actual guests like pretending to be scared?
Yeah. Oh no, those are probably staff.
Okay.
But you could buy so I was told that in their gift shop, you can't buy anything that says Star Wars, but you could buy clothes that people would wear in the universe.
Yeah, but it costs like $150, $200 or something like that to buy an outfit that you're allowed to wear. But if you've already got like a cosplay outfit at home, you can't bring that and wear that.
Well, you can't wear a helmet. You can't wear something that fully covers your head.
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah. See, I've got just the costume for this if I go.
And what's that?
Bet. I'm gonna tell you.
Come on, man.
I'm gonna make a video, bro.
All right. So yeah, this is them.
So bad.
I mean, they're into it. Look at this guy's into it.
One of the damage effects actually.
Oh no!
There it was.
I'll handle this.
Wow.
The choreography
oh my God.
Just as bad as the movies.
Not only that, did you notice that is actually missing by 2 feet more than the force kick on the skiff from Jedi, right?
Yep.
And don't forget, everything that you're seeing here is canon.
But except for one thing, okay, and I'm going to say it this way. This team probably has only had a few weeks to practice this choreography.
Right.
So it will get better. Okay, these are professionals. I am not being critical of them, other than some missed timing there. I have to imagine
$6,000 culture.
I know
$6,000
right,
immersive.
but that's not
$6,000. I don't care whether or not they're like
they better be
full-on
best
professional actors or not. I'm paying
I think they've had more than
$6,000 to
a
be
few
immersed.
weeks too.
You're absolutely right.
This has been in the works for a long time.
It
There's no
has.
excuse for this crap.
I understand, just based on some of the way the casting was put together, I'm just going to say they haven't had as much time as they probably should have. This is like right now we're watching like previews of a Broadway show. If you look at it that way, 2 or 3 weeks from now, things could look much better, more polished, right?
Well,
the longer you do a job, the better it gets. But to what Ryan was saying, to that end, you're 100% right. This is $6,000 for 4 people, plus tax and resort fees. So you're not wrong there. I'm not saying you're wrong at all.
Plus drinks, plus food, plus an outfit.
Yo, Tom has one of those balls. Check out. Tom has a ball.
That's what I'm talking about. That's sort of what I'm talking about.
That's what I want.
Like, even just something like that. Like, I don't know.
That is
wow. Tom went full Palpatine. He went full Palpatine.
Don't worry, Palpatine will come back. That is awesome, Tom.
It is sweet, Tom. Dude, you have all the toys.
And real quick, thank you to the 57 people watching right now. Really appreciate it. I know everybody's showing this stuff, but we got a group of people that we got Raging Rhino. I mean, he's Star Wars. And he is Star Wars. And we got Mark, who, like, his story about Star Wars has made me tear up before. Yeah. And we got Tom, who hates me because of Star Wars.
Yes.
So I love it.
Yeah. So just to go on what Rhino was saying, Rhino, you keep saying $6,000. You forget what country we're in. To us, it's $8,294.
Yeah, that's true.
And
he's
Ryan,
actually right. Like
Ryan Schild, everybody, you saw it here first. Ryan Schild. Just wanted to put that out there.
Ryan's actually got a cameo in my upcoming video. It'll be premiered on Friday for me, so Thursday night for all you guys. But,
make sure you link my. I mean, I'm not that big of a channel, but put my name in when you tweet it out so I can share it.
As Drunk said, all the green milk and all the blue milk you could possibly want.
Apparently, the green milk isn't that good, but the blue milk
they
is
both
because
taste like butt. No, they're both terrible.
No, they sell that at the experience, right?
Well, you can get it at the Batu. You can get it in Batu.
Yeah,
okay, I have to ask a question. In universe, and Mark, you might be able to help me with this one. In universe, is it just called green milk and blue milk? Like, you know, when we see Luke in just Star Wars, he's sitting there talking with his uncle and drinking the green milk, right? I know nobody refer, like, it's not like Luke says to get me fucking some more green milk.
Right.
But like, you know, and in the newest Star Wars, we don't hear anyone, I believe, call it blue milk. But my point is like, again, in universe, this is supposed to be an immersive universe. Like,
so what's the technical name?
Give it a name, right? Give the drink a name, not just green milk, fucking blue milk.
Should be like Gupta milk.
You know what I'm saying?
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Exactly. Like, at least give us the name of the animal.
It's Bantha milk.
And they just like a Bantha.
That beast that we saw in The Last Jedi is that milk.
Yeah.
Well, they do have Bantha on the menu with Moonrock potatoes.
Yeah, we got to see the actual menu. I know it's out there somewhere.
Yeah, Jay had a whole thing this morning. He went through in detail. I can't find the videos and that he was using. But he had a whole heap. Like, there was a guy and he was explaining every single cocktail, every single meal. Like, it's supposed to be it's supposed to be in the middle of Hoth in the resistance space. There's this huge glass and they got cream and everything in this non-alcoholic drink.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to immerse you in there, and then they go, we go to Hoth just to get the ice.
Look how slow that is.
Even that. Did you see that swing over?
Hold on.
Now, we go back to wherever that was.
Oh, it's coming up. It's coming up.
Let's be real.
When they hit the rail, when they this.
Let's be real. Like, even if it was real, like the idea of having to go to Hoth to get the ice,
I know. It's
is
like
not even economically feasible.
That's right. It's the purpose of putting in an Easter egg for putting in an Easter egg, right? It's like, oh, look, it's connected to Hoth. We go to Hoth to get the ice. It's like, again, this is a point that I actually make in my newest video, is that in their universe, time doesn't exist.
Right.
Getting to places, doing things. Things are just there. Things just happen, and it's just there because it needs to be there, and they just happen because it needs to happen.
Yeah. Right.
It would be like us going and hiring a company to go to the North Pole and bring down truckloads of ice to Wisconsin, where I could actually freeze ice for free 6 months of the year.
Just to say you have Wisconsin ice.
Well, see, but this is the problem with our entertainment at the moment. I can't believe I'm actually going to steer away from Star Wars for a second.
Whoa.
In our entertainment now, like I just mentioned, things just happen. Take me off. Things just happen to happen.
Right.
Right? They just happen because it needs to happen. And that's what's happened to our entertainment now. And the nostalgia's in there, all of that shit. But things just happen to happen. And the point, I'm going to give you a scenario here. Rambo.
Okay.
Right? First Blood. When he's running away from the cops and, he's going through the hills and all of this kind of thing. He's lost his jacket. Well, he didn't lose his jacket. They stripped it off him because they were cleaning him up, right?
Right.
So he's out in the freezing cold. He doesn't have a jacket. So he's looking around this burnt out car, this burnt out truck to try and find some shit that he can use, right?
Right.
In that moment, he finds a bit of string, but that's all he finds. And he sort of takes that rest on the step of the truck. While he's taking that rest, you can see in his face that, what the fuck's going on? And he turns to his left and he sees the blanket thing that he turns into that thing that he wears, right? And he starts cutting it out. My point to this is that in today's entertainment, if they were to do that scene, they wouldn't have that moment where he sits down and contemplates for that split second what's going on, allowing the audience to absorb how intense this moment is, right? There would be none of that. What would happen is he would run up to the camp, he would find the string, he would open up the back of the truck, and you know how he actually takes a peek in the back of the truck and there's nothing there? What would happen in today's entertainment?
There'd be a
He
jacket.
was looking the back of the truck, there'd be a jacket, a pair of pants, some shoes, some socks, all folded up neatly, right? With a gun and
a
fucking
mint.
everything he needs, all just there ready to go, and a medical kit.
And a radio,
Right.
probably.
Yeah,
And a radio.
I've played that video game.
That's what today's entertainment would be.
No, you're
And it
right,
was fun.
Rhino. And not only that, you forgot one other thing they also did with that scene. They showed how cold he was. That's why he needed something to cover up.
Exactly. There was so much in that one scene. And again, even just in that moment where it's like, fuck, he can't find anything. There's nothing in this burnt out truck. He found that string hanging from the thing.
Yep.
He rips that down and he takes that moment on the step. And as the audience, like I said, that's such a powerful moment because it's like, he's a Vietnam vet. Then he just wanted something to eat. He's now on the run. He's fucking killed someone.
Yep.
Oh, no, that didn't happen then, did it? That happens after.
He didn't actually, in the first one, he didn't actually kill.
No, he didn't kill, like the guy that fell out of the chopper is what I'm saying. Did that happen before or after that
That was
moment?
right at the end.
That was after that moment?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So that hadn't happened yet. But even still, he'd be like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why am I being chased by the authorities in my own country? Blah, blah, blah. Like, that all happens. And it all culminates to that moment at the end when you can barely understand what he's saying.
Right.
I want to go for a ride, Johnny. Why can't I find your legs? Like,
it's like with Star Wars, with Luke. We know how Luke got started on his adventure, on his journey. We saw what happened, with his aunt and his uncle. We know there was a tie-in with his father and all that stuff.
Yep.
With The Force Awakens, there was no reason for Rey to embark on that journey.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely not.
What were the stakes
She
for
says
her?
that she wants to go back to Jakku to wait for her family. Why did she even leave in the first place?
There was
She
no
could've
point.
just come back
For what? The droid? You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden she's running. What are you running for? They're not after you. When Kylo Ren says you have no place in the story, I'm like, fucking hey, no, she doesn't. She has no place in the story. There's no reason to be there. That's why we never felt the passion, in her character at all.
Right. Well, there was no backstory. And then the backstory was something you thought it was going to be. And then they changed it. And then they changed it back. And then, even though they told you didn't have to be anybody to be a Jedi, you could be somebody still great. She ended up being one of the bloodlines that is one of the most powerful. So, it meant nothing. No matter what, you're right.
Like,
You never got that connection with her.
But whether or not you look at Star Wars or anything at the moment, just to the point that I was making is the pace of these, if the entertainment that we get now is just bang, 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 bang.
Right.
It's in your face. There is no time. Like people say the beginning of A New Hope is really slow, right? And yeah, in comparison to the entertainment that we get today, it is fucking slow. Yeah, if you've ever tried to get somebody into Star Wars, like who's never watched Star Wars, and you start them off with A New Hope the way you should, it's actually hard to get them through that first half of that movie.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny considering at that time a lot of people complained about how fast cut it was.
Yeah, yeah.
And how fast paced it was.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. George, well, his main direction was faster, more intense.
It gets that way.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way he edited it, and well, not just him, but Marsha and the rest who edited it, like they kind of put it to the point where it's like that slapdash editing they had to because they didn't have anything else to show. Like 9 times out of 10, where there's a cut, that's the end of the footage they could use.
Yeah.
So I want to read this. Go ahead, finish your thought, please.
I was just going to say these fast-paced movies, right, are just it's actually more a distraction now.
Yeah.
It's like, shit, we can't explain this. Quick, keep moving, right? And and that's where they can't allow the audience to sit and think.
Right.
Because as soon as you do for that even split second, something falls apart in the story or in someone's head.
Right. Rise of Skywalker. I mean, that one was probably the greatest example of any of them, where when you just started thinking, wait a minute, how did that just happen? They were already gone onto some other massive thing. Why are we skipping now? Wait a minute, what just happened? Like it just keeps moving and moving. So you never have a moment to process what you just saw.
Yeah. But I just noticed that. I just
James
noticed
Bond
it.
movies and the James Bond movies and the Indiana Jones. They would always open with the action sequence.
Yes.
And you're sitting there like, wow. But then they bring it down, to bring you into what the story is going to be and all that stuff.
Man, that first one was masterpiece.
There's always those quiet moments and quiet conversations. The conversations were always relevant, though. Like, there was never really dialogue that took place that was like, why? What was the point of that?
Right.
And Indiana Jones is a great example of that when he's, trying to get the medallion.
Right.
And he's talking to, what's her name, in her bar.
Oh, yeah.
Marion.
That's it.
Marion.
Sorry. That's another great example of just the pacing just slowing down, but also just allowing the audience to absorb what they've seen, but then what is actually happening in that actual moment.
Right.
And it was just something that I noticed with Rambo, because they did a Rambo marathon or something, and it was on, and I saw that moment, and I'm like, wow. Like,
excellent.
It was the first time I'd seen it like that, because again, everything these days, I said it to my mate that was here. I'm like, dude, in this day and age, he would just find everything there in the back of that you and it'd be good to go.
You're absolutely right. Like, Tom, I don't know if it was one of your guys' videos or it might have been Critical Drinker, but you were Critical, talk about Tremors, how they set up a faulty refrigerator.
The foreshadowing of it, yeah.
Yeah, like they don't do that anymore. The foreshadowing of
not like they used to. I mean, it's kind of in your face in a certain way, and it's clunky is the best way I can think to describe it. And it's funny that you brought up First Blood as an example, because both Star Wars, A New Hope, and First Blood were saved in the edit, because Sylvester Stallone didn't want to release the first cut of First Blood. He hated it. He was going to buy it from the studio and destroy it. He thought it was going to ruin his career, because the first cut was like 2+ hours long and it dragged and it just wasn't clicking. So he stepped away from it for a little bit, like a day or two or whatever it was. And then he went back and he re-edited the entire film from top to bottom again and cut it down to that slim 90-minute cut we got now.
Right. And
it clicked finally. I don't know what it was that he did in the recut, but he didn't reshoot anything, didn't change anything.
It was powerful.
Just went back and reevaluated what he had there, I guess, and just kind of recut it, and it just happened to work. But
like the first Rocky, and Rambo, there's been so many of them that you forget how great of a movie the first one was. Like that first Blood was a powerful like take on, you know, just like this guy, all he wanted to do was feel like he was home.
Well, it's the most grounded. It's the most
yeah.
real. It was the first film to really tackle PTSD and all that kind of stuff. And because at that time, it didn't even we didn't even know that term yet.
Right.
It was still called shell shock then, and even then, it was still kind of not talked about.
Right.
And I mean, the book, of course, is way different than what the movie was. To me, the movie was more of a cultural milestone than the book.
Right.
Because the book is really, I don't know if anybody else has read the book here. The book goes like chapter by chapter back and forth between Rambo and Teasel. And Rambo is kind of more of a force of nature in the book. He's not really a character. Mm-hmm. Like, he kills everybody. He blows up the entire fucking town. He gets killed at the end. I mean, it's a downer, and it's very dour in comparison. And because it's about basically two men from a war that's forgotten and another one that the U.S. wants to forget. That's kind of the bottom line. Because you got Teasel from the Korean War, who everybody forgot happened at that point. And, you know, this was fresh off of Vietnam, and everybody was wanting to forget that. So that's kind of what it was more about, is that the town just didn't want to be reminded of what Rambo stood for, right?
Right.
Like, that was kind of what it more was. And in the book, like I say, he's more of a gruff, you know, lean, mean killing machine.
Yeah.
And basically
Tom Cruise.
Well,
did anybody see that meme that they figured out that the actual ukulele ace, the guy who shot down like 6 of those other people's planes, they were like, turns out to be Top Gun's own Tom Cruise, and like they show Maverick like that was great.
Troutman ends up having to kill him and stuff at the end. Yeah.
Right.
Get that.
So Nikki D for $5. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you to everybody here tonight. 65 people watching. Thank you for super chats. Like, share, do all that stuff, guys. You guys all rule. For $5 says, will Chapek improve the quality of the films? No. Shows? No. Parks? No. Or will he just reduce spending on productions and innovation? I want to first start with Culture Casino on that one. Or would you want to pass it and come back?
Well, that's a good question right off the bat. I want to know, do you blame, from your perspective, Culture, going off this question, do you blame Chapek for this mess, or is this something that was enlisted before he was even involved?
No, this is goes back to Iger, the very initial fruits that they were having with fleshing out Star Wars in the parks. If there were a lot of blue sky ideas that were on the table early on when they had actually acquired Star Wars, and one of them included an actual boutique Star Wars park. It wouldn't have just been an expansion at Disneyland or an expansion at Disney World. It would have been its own thing.
Well, that's what I said made the most sense. Why didn't they just build a Star Wars park? Yeah. You could literally build 9 different worlds that represent each of the films.
Well,
and like you've seen concept art for basically a Star Wars land that's got every fucking
you could have followed
Epcot in the fucking movie.
Yeah, you walk into Tatooine. Yeah, you walk into Tatooine, you go into the bar, and then out of the bar you go into like Hoth, or
like Epcot. Like you can go from world to world.
Exactly.
To country.
And that was not, and it was more than that. Rhino's not wrong. The original concept would have placed the land in a different location, in Florida in particular, that would have allowed for
an additional. Imagine pod racing.
Yeah, well, they had, again, Disney understands this concept of kinetics, right? You have to have
multi-layers. Imagine flying a Naboo fucking starfighter into a fucking, man, like, sorry, Culture.
Like one of those Imperial ones?
I'm just,
dude, we all can come up with better ideas. That's the problem. Okay, so imagine the concept that they're using. They're using the same concept that had originally had some tentacles for Star Wars over in Avatar. If you've heard this attraction called Flight of Passage,
right.
they use a Tron cycle coaster seat to basically recreate a dragon. Well, there was an early concept that would have allowed each person to feel like they were on a speeder bike. Right.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. But there were so many other ideas here, but they wanted a bantha attraction, which would have taken you through the whole like area. Right. You did have
to ride it like a bantha.
You could have which is interesting because if you see the mechanics behind the bantha, you can see what they were doing, what the concept was for this attraction, riding an animatronic, basically.
This just goes to show, right, how much the people, first of all, likes making Star Wars don't get Star Wars.
Yeah.
But it also goes to show how much care they don't have for Star Wars and how much love they don't have for Star Wars, like some of the fans.
Right.
And the best example that I can that I can give most people of that is the lightsaber training on this fucking little excursion thing, this $6,000 thing.
Yeah.
Right? There is technology out there where you can put a visor on your face, hold on to these two things, and play a game like this that look like fucking lightsabers while you're playing music.
Yeah.
Right?
That was the original concept, right?
But no, you got to stand there with a fucking pole, right? And a beam comes out, and you got to go, oh, let me put my fucking stick in front of this fucking laser fucking pointer.
You've also got to put it down.
How cheap and retarded is that?
We could sit here for the next in probably about an hour's time, come up with one land for each movie that has a fun land, a ride, and a store for each film.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But see, again, the original concept allowed for 3 attractions plus an in-depth dinner theater that was attached to the cantina.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you could even have like the cantina for the first film, and then you go to the desert for the first part where you just hang out, and then like Rhino was saying, you get to blow up the Death Star for the ride,
right?
Which is just basically a VR ride. How hard is that? And then you go to Empire, where the first part is Hoth, where you actually do the ride, where you take down a couple of fucking walkers or whatever, and then fucking you
go to Camino and you go on a fucking roller coaster ride because all it is like a tour, but it's roller coaster version through the fucking.
Well, you could be like Harry Potter. The Harry Potter one, you feel like you're riding a fucking broom.
That we can come up with here.
Exactly.
Simple fucking things. It's a simple roller coaster where you're traveling through Camino. You got pretty much a water attraction then, don't you?
Yeah.
And it's fucking you're just going through all the pods. You see all the fucking clones training while you have these slow moments where it's like a little
well, no, you know what happens, Rhino, is you go through a tour.
I started to think of The Simpsons, the monorail. You could have it like it's half a monorail, half a roller coaster.
Well, basically, you go through Camino, you go through the lab, seeing how all the clones are made, and that's all you do is you do like a 3D fucking bubble of screens, and then all of a sudden the ride stops. You're like, "What's going on?" And you're outside, and you're getting pelted by rain and shit. Down comes fucking Jango Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi come out as actors, and they sit there and they do a battle, and
you get to watch them battle.
Fucking awesome!
You know, like,
Mark, would you pay money to go see all this stuff we're talking about?
The stuff that you're coming up with now?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is. I mean, that's people who actually know.
Sorry.
That's people actually know and love the material.
All right.
You know,
the Return of the Jedi
here. It's its own proof. These people don't know anything about Star Wars, man.
Right.
You know, I mean, first of all, it takes imagination. I remember I did a video about that a while ago when I first heard about how much they're charging here. They'll never do better than our imagination. They have to appeal to that sense of imagination because they got to remember. We grew up playing lightsabers, a lot of us with sticks and stuff like that. You know, we just saw it all in our minds, man. You could get in a cardboard box and do a run on the Death Star and have a great time.
And we did.
You know, like I used to do it myself.
Just use your imagination, but just bring that imagination to life. Like, for example, the kids' part of the park is fucking the jungle gym on Endor.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
the trees.
And you could even have a big version of that for the big kids.
Well, yeah,
right? Where they can swing across these massive ropes and shit like that.
Yeah.
But I think Mark has a valid point. It's like you could be in a box and push your kid around the living room and you are there.
Better yet, take your kid, put him in front of the TV, play the Death Star run. From the first film.
Inside a box and just go like this while they're traveling through the fucking
You don't even have to do it. It's in our minds. And I've done it. You know, I've done it with my son, and it was worth way more than $6,000.
That's what
just
I'm saying.
to be on the living room floor playing with that kid.
That's beautiful.
Imagine what that experience is like to be able to go to a land of one of your most passionate, beloved franchises.
Yes.
Right? With your son, that you've had all those experiences with, right? And be able to climb on the jungle gym at Endor, right? Not a jungle gym. It's just their fucking home.
Right.
But you get to swing across it and swing through it, and there's
Slides
Ewoks
and shit,
everywhere and shit like that and slides. And then you can fucking go and destroy the Death Star with your son. Or you could fucking just go to Camino and go on a roller coaster and a roller coaster / monorail and fucking you have your slow moments where you can have your little, oh, wow, look at that, Dad, look at that. And then it's the roller coaster. It's like, well, the roller coaster part is like that beast that goes through the water from Camino.
Yeah.
Like, and then you could go to fucking Tatooine and go to the bar where you see the most wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Well, for Return of the Jedi, you could have Jabba's palace for the restaurant bar.
Or that. Like, you could go to dinner at Jabba's palace.
Exactly.
Like, just... Like,
incredible quick serve restaurant up in the indoor trees, right? In the indoor villages, you could have those great restaurants.
Well, like I said, you could come up with a theme for each.
We're giving
one
them too many ideas.
Movie. Yeah,
I put this idea in Mark's head, and Mark's sitting there going, "I'll never be able to do that."
Because you could do it a lot easier than you'd think. That's the thing. And Culture knows because he does this kind of shit with haunts. And that's what I said yesterday on the show. I'm like, Culture Casino could come up with much more exciting stuff with the same kind of budget. And make it feel like it's worth the $6,000.
Yeah.
Give me $600 million. You have no idea what I could give you.
Well, so
ask, Wendy, are you a man or a woman?
Well, that's
I have to ask that question.
Well, we're supposed to, aren't we?
On that one.
We're supposed to, I thought. So Wendy's here to explain to us and Anne, is it worth it? Is it worth the $4,800 to $6,000 American dollars? And we're going to find out what they think right now. But before that, I'd like to thank Mr. Drunk 3PO, who's been killing it on the YouTube lately.
Dude's genius.
Yes.
Oh, genius. And Mr. Grant Gregory, who put out a great short about their interview that they had where Drunk talks about just wanting his friends to succeed. That was powerful, man. He has always hit you with something powerful, this guy. But anyways, thank you so much for the $3 super sticker. You rock, man.
He just finished up an epic live stream earlier.
Oh,
he was grinding on the same stuff using, they're talking about the same things. Look, we're all going to be talking about this for days, unfortunately, which is going to become crazy. I'm sorry.
Well, Adam Wolford says, and thank you, Adam, for $10, man. Thank you. And thank you, Drunk, for that too. Just remember, with $6,000, you could buy 3 million Max and Big Macs, and feed the many homeless, and you will feel far better than with Memories Galactic Cruise.
Just pointing that out.
Just pointing that out. Thank you, Adam.
That's
Great
absolutely
point.
true.
You're absolutely right.
Actually, hopefully the news cycle will change because I'm going to see Batman Tuesday.
Tuesday.
On Tuesday, yes.
Man, I was having a conversation about Batman the other day. I know
we're actually going to go into Batman, so
Chris Gore and I are going to talk about it Wednesday morning.
We'll wait.
We'll wait a couple minutes. I just want to hear what Wendy has to say.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark.
All right.
Jay, follow each other, Coke.
Come on, dude. Oh, shoot. Hit the wrong button. There we go. Let's try that one more time.
Storytelling, the amount of play,
no, that's
the amount
definitely
of
a woman.
Engagement that a person
it could
is
be.
going to experience. I don't think you're going to question
hormones can do a lot
nowadays.
Think
you're just going to have a lot of fun, and you're going to have a deep experience with your passengers, with your fellow passengers, that is unlike anything else in the world.
Let's not say family.
And Disney creates a lot of experiences at a lot of different price points for people, and this might not be for everybody to choose, and that's okay. But I really hope people think more about the experience that they're going to have.
No, so that's a bad thing to say. Can we pause it for a second?
Yes, please.
For her to say, you might
it's not for everybody,
and that's okay.
This might not be for everybody to choose.
You should be promoting this like that. Every Star Wars fan would love to come here. The experience is immersive. We got a crazy story. It's really good. You'll have a great time. Every Star Wars fan should love this. It's not this, it's.
I don't want
translation is you might not be able to afford it, but we don't care.
Right.
That's the way I heard it.
Right, Mr. Grant Gregory, what did you say?
I didn't even see it that way, Mark.
It's fair enough. You don't want poor people touching your furniture and smelling up the place.
You're joking, but didn't they actually say something to that effect a while back when they first announced this fucking thing?
Yeah, they said it was for the not upper echelon. I think it was the word that they used.
There was somebody who did
exactly
say
the way she meant it
Yep.
Rhino. I mean, that's
fair
it.
enough. Wow.
I wish I had that clip of Brandon that when he goes, poor kids have just enough chance as white kids. You know, like that's what they're pretty much saying. Like rich kids can come here and have fun, and you poor kids can't. Like,
you can watch it on the YouTubes. It's the same thing.
Let's drag their ass through the mud and blame them to say that nobody can see this because of their white privilege. You have to be white privileged to go see this shit.
It's really class privilege, but I'm with you on that.
I know,
works.
but like we gotta play their games now. We
Yeah.
can't be fucking around no more. This taking the high road shit ain't gonna work no more.
Well, Mark, okay, so I don't know. For me, I'll speak for myself. I am a father with 3 kids. I could never afford this right now. I could never afford this right now.
Yeah.
And if my kid was like, I haven't gotten her into Star Wars yet. She's only 7, and you know, I won't start with these new movies or the original. I start with episode 4, so I got to wait till she can see a burnt skeleton. My way of looking at it is this. If she falls in love with it and is like, I want to go to this, Daddy, and I could say, Daddy can't give you that world. You know, like Disney World used to be a place where if you saved up, you could take your family and have my dad had an amazing trip, and your kids would never know like how much, you know, it took a little extra for you to save up. Now it's like you have to take a loan out to stay at the hotel. I mean, the parks are like $100 and something a day a person.
I also have a question. So it's $6,000 for 2 adults and 2 children, family of 4, right? Now the only pictures that I've seen of rooms can only sleep 4 people.
Right.
Right.
The
2
beds
bunks
slide
and
out.
a master bed.
The bottom.
So my
one's a
question
slide.
is, sorry.
The bottom part of the bed is a slide out bed.
Yeah, you can have
In that
that's
tiny
deluxe-
little compartment that you're
that's
in.
the
For
deluxe
$6,000.
That's yeah.
So hang on a second. It's $6,000 for 4 people. So let's say, Scott, you were to decide to go. You can take 2 of your kids, but how much would it cost you for a 3rd kid? Is it extra? And if it is extra, then why are you literally getting a slide out trundle? Right.
And those kids are getting a hell of an education, because I don't know about you guys. If I'm spending $6,000 on a vacation and I'm married, I'm fucking my wife.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing too. You're stuck in a room with your kids. Like, I know that every time I've been on a fucking holiday with my girlfriend at the time, whatever.
Earmuffs, kids.
It's a holiday.
Earmuffs. OG Star Wars in the house, stopping by.
For a minute.
Thank you, OG.
But wait, just time out, because
Yeah.
I'm going to say something.
Oh, okay.
You guys are all still presenting best case scenario, right? You're not talking about, you know, the additional taxes, resort fees, the fact that this is only 2 nights. There's only 2 nights.
2
here.
nights.
And wait, it gets better. And you're there for less than 48 total hours. I think it's 42 hours is what it works out to.
Which is funny, because yesterday on our show, people were actually sending in other things you could do alternately with $6,000. I see someone like in the chat just said, and that's what reminded me of
please do it.
Is you could actually go to Hawaii and get a townhouse for a month.
Okay, so I want the chat for $6,000. What can you do with a family of 4 for $6,000? Think about that.
A lot.
Well, this is the other thing too. For $6,000, I want more than 2 nights.
Right, and you can only, I think you only could go to that Star Wars, but
I'm not.
you can only go to.
I'm not
once.
done.
No, I want to say this to you, Culture.
And drinks,
Can't you
and
only
food, and everything else. I'm sorry, but they're charging you on top of that for shit.
Well,
Sorry.
that's what I was going to ask Culture, and you have to pay for that stuff. You have to pay for a restaurant, and don't you only get to go to the Star Wars section of the park, right?
Yeah. Okay. So it breaks down to the Galaxy's Edge experience that you get. You get just like any other cruise excursion. You have to be back on the ship by 4:00.
Yeah.
But that means you're going to be missing some elements of the story that if you're invested in, you don't want to miss. And they want to get you at least twice, because they want you to do the resistance missions and they want you to do the First Order missions. That's going to take 2 trips. So just keep that in mind. But best case scenario, right? You're only talking about select dates for that best case scenario for that $6,000. So it's from like essentially the middle of August, and Drunk's in the chat, so he can probably correct me, until the middle of September, when it's hot as balls and you just put your kids back in school. So you think those are going to be the most favorable dates for people to go in those circumstances?
Do you reckon those box trucks are air conditioned?
Oh, I'm sure.
Could you imagine in like
Are
the
they really
summertime
box
over
trucks?
there?
Are they
and
really
they put
box
you in the
trucks?
back of a box truck to
it's a
travel,
box
but there's
truck.
no aircon.
It's got air conditioning. You can see the units on top of the box trucks.
Okay.
That's crazy.
But it's just
That's crazy.
But my whole point is bigger than that.
Well-
We're talking about the best case scenario of
Right.
$6,000. It's way more than that.
Way more.
Let's not.
There's a bigger
no
problem,
delusions.
culture.
Okay,
And that
yeah.
is, if you can share my image here, Scott, real quick.
Okay. Yep. Yeah.
There is no room in these bunks. As you can see, Jay, his
Hold
biggest
on, let me go to the
complaint was
side.
that he could not nap.
I guess I'm going to be in the bunk. That's all.
But
I have.
okay, that's the size of the
room.
bunk. Look at the size of the double bed in comparison to the bunk.
It's not much bigger.
It's
It's
not
actually
much
queen.
bigger.
It's actually it's a 60 by 80.
This crap.
Well, I'll
Doesn't
quote
look very
Jaws
quaint
when I
to
say
me.
that that is to proportion.
Well, I am 5'10", and I don't feel like my knees feel. I just looking at that, it would feel like my knees would be up.
Sir Angus. That's
I
fine.
couldn't spit out my words properly then.
That's it. It happens to me all the time, buddy.
Well,
Let's
that's
just
TT. That's photoshopped. It was done by Rogue Disney.
right.
I can almost promise you, my 13-year-old son, would think this is so lame. He wouldn't
Right.
even want to go.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So, and he was raised on this stuff. We had all the Lego sets, all the action figures, everything. And the reward that you get for
Right.
all of the years, of doing all of this and, enjoying it is for them to build some crap like this and put it out of range of the very people who established this in the first place.
Right.
Well,
What a slap in
Mark,
the face.
But
Huge
also,
slap, man.
let me ask you this though, Mark. If let's say this was affordable, let's say it was $2,000 for 2 nights for a family of 4, right? That's a bit more. That's a little bit better, isn't it? With drinks included, with all these other bits and pieces on top. Would you still go based on what you've seen?
Right.
Fuck no. No,
You
not
know
for
what I mean?
500
I
bucks for 2
understand.
nights. No,
I'm
I
not.
agree
I'm
with
not.
him.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Like, it's not just about the money. The look of this place isn't.
That's
Star
what I'm
Wars.
saying. My
Yeah.
son would say that it was lame. He would
I'm with
reject
you.
It
it.
does.
No, I'm with
But
Mark.
the
This
icing
is
on the
not
cake is
worth
what they're
that
actually.
much. Yeah.
And then you have Brutus over here talking about, oh well, it's not for
Brutus.
everybody. You know what I mean? It's for nobody.
Dinner
Which is
theaters
so
put
messed
more
up.
into their shit than this. Okay, let's be real. You can go see a dinner theater for like 40, 50 bucks a person,
Yeah.
and you'll get more out of it than this.
Right.
This is not Star Wars, bro.
No.
That's the number one problem. It doesn't look like Star Wars. It doesn't feel
feel
like
it.
Star Wars.
Right. Right. It feels corny. It feels corny. We got over 80 people in the chat. Thank you everybody for being here. Really appreciate it. So we're really quick. Take a look at this article that Culture gave me. So it is from theparkplace.com, the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser or Starcruiser Plan B option. I can't speak. Yeah. So
Poor choice of wording there.
right.
You
Allegedly.
know what's really funny about the Plan B option? Can I just say?
Well, that's
Is
why
that
I snipped it.
There
What?
should be no fucking Plan B.
Right.
Like, if this was George doing the parks and like his concept or his ideas of what he would want to do with it, you wouldn't need a Plan B. It would just be, there might be some changes throughout development. There
Right.
might be some things that he might change and swing and do different or whatever,
Right.
right? But by the time it actually hits the public, right, there's no Plan B anymore.
Right.
It's just these people don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're making. They don't know what Star Wars is. They don't know what the universe of Star Wars is. And the person who said it best was fucking Marsha Lucas when she said they don't get it.
They don't
And
get
to
it.
this day, the people creating it still don't get it.
Right.
I've never seen Star Tours, but I can imagine anybody who has will say that is still better than this shit. And that is how many years old now? 30?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, when they built that attraction and installed it with those simulators, right? Because they have 6 simulators in Florida, they have 4 in California. When they put it in place of what was the journey into inner space, they did a great job utilizing the space, but they put these 4 amazing 6 gimbal simulators in there, and were able to take you on a Star Wars adventure. And then later they advanced the technology so they could take you on different types of Star Wars adventures.
Right.
And it's great use of the technology of the time that has been slowly upgraded over time. They did a nice job in Galaxy's Edge with the Smuggler's Run if it was just an attraction. The problem is they incorporated the video game participation elements, which means just like at the Galactic Cruiser bologna sausage, you're literally one person's pushing a button as the gunner, one person's pushing the button as the harpoon, one person's pushing a button, for guns, the other person's doing the other guns, and then you have a pilot and a person that actually hits the hyperspace button. And the only people that really seem to have any effect on the attraction are the pilot and the co-pilot. But it doesn't matter anyway because there's no consequences, although there will be some when it comes to the people going between there and the hotel that was supposed to be more interactive. The attraction that is the Rise of the Resistance attraction is very, very good. But again, it's with characters nobody's invested in. I'm sorry, even the people who appreciate the films, you were not invested in this attraction. You could have been if this were, Escape from the Death Star with, your favorite pals from Star Wars. But no, you get Kylo Ren and Rey. And believe me, Rey is just as flat and underwhelming in the pre-show of that attraction and throughout it as she was in the films. And so is the only engaging part is Kylo Ren, which would have been, again, just replace Kylo Ren with Darth Vader. There were so many great things that were left on the table that people who understood this concept, but they shoved that to the back. The people that created this world in the first place, like Mark and Rhino have been talking about, and they've shoved this new stuff in here that you just lost 50% or more of the fans because they're not invested in it because it was underwhelming and garbage. But
they don't need to make
common with the Love Boat,
50-year-olds anymore.
Yeah, very much like the Love Boat.
They forgot one very valuable lesson when they said that. We don't want Star Wars for the 50-year-olds or whatever it is that fucking Kathleen Kennedy said.
Yeah.
And that is the fact that Star Wars is generational. The proof of that is how long it's actually survived for.
Yes.
Through its fan base.
Mark is a perfect
a perfect example of that. Again. I would say to some degree I'm an example of that, but my dad was more a Trekkie.
Yeah.
Than he was a Star Wars guy. I just fell into the Star Wars thing. I embraced that more.
Right.
But yeah, it's these things are generational. They make sense to everyone. And you know what makes it make sense to everyone and makes it generational is the fact that it's timeless.
Right.
It's in a galaxy far, far away, a long time ago.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. It's powerful. Just that.
Same with Doctor Who. It's a fucking all of these IPs, all of these franchises. I know it's just been taken over by the activists. Fucking hate it.
This is like Charlie Brown and Charlie Brown Christmas. Walking around wondering, can anyone tell me the true meaning of Star Wars?
Yeah.
It's like all we have are a bunch of flashing lights, people trying to make money off of this and off of that. But where's the essence of it? Where's the love?
Yeah.
You don't see any love here, and the kids will know that too. It's like you bring your kids there. Oh, can I have this? Well, let's see how much it costs, dear. Can we do that? Well, let's see how much. Yeah. Where's the love?
And you know what, Mark?
One thing there. Huh?
You know what, Mark? Another thing is the people that can't afford it, and I'm not saying everybody, but there will be people that just checkbox, I went to this. I got to go to this with my family before you did, but we don't even give a shit about Star Wars.
And that's where I feel like George, to some degree, yeah, he wanted to make money. He wanted to fucking profit from his fucking idea, but he had love there for the fans. I mean, even when fans would we all know that he got criticized pretty heavily for the prequels. Right. But I don't think that the prequels are to the point so destructive or anything like that. Yeah, they had a little bit of a different tone to them, but it still felt like Star Wars. It still felt like the same fucking story.
Time helped you with those.
Right. But also too, when it came to buying the merchandise,
right,
it wasn't super expensive. I mean, Lego always has been, but the figures and things like that, just to go and buy them from a store new, they weren't super expensive or anything like that. It's when they started becoming collectibles that and rare and all of that sort of thing that they start becoming a bit more expensive. But other than that, it was always like, yeah, how much is it? Oh yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. And they were left in the mud, like you and your buddies ripped off arms to put a different arm on a different guy.
The soul and the heart there, the people creating Star Wars right now is just not there. And that goes for whether or not people agree or disagree with me. That goes for John and Dave as well. I know that there's people probably in the chat right now that got some enjoyment out of things like The Mandalorian, enjoyment out of possibly the bulk of Boba Fett. I can't say more power to you anymore because I view it completely differently now. But I don't know. Everybody that's there seems to be on the same page.
Well, that's the problem. Yep.
And the problem with that is the page isn't what's the lore, what's the continuity, what's let's give the fans let's give the fans some nostalgia, but let's give them a really fucking good story. Let's give them a wicked fucking story. If we have Luke Skywalker show up, it's because it's a natural progression of Luke Skywalker showing up. Right. When Luke Skywalker does show up, let's make sure that he acts like a Jedi Knight. Let's make sure he asks questions. Let's make sure we see his wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's make sure we portray that, not just dead eyes and that. Like, again, people got enjoyment out of it. I don't want to rip that away from you, but in a way, I kind of like. It's kind of like, well, it's not.
You're allowed
Star
to have
Wars.
your thoughts
to me,
on
it's
it,
not
man.
Star Wars.
Yeah, you're not attacking people because you don't like it, right, Mark? I didn't like it at all. I got attacked for, you hate Baby Yoda, you don't like anything, but I just saw where it was going. I did not like it after episode 1 Mandalorian, and I didn't attack anybody for not liking it. I just thought it was crap, but people got...
I didn't mind Mando when it was basically Lone Wolf and Cub, because that was kind of what, Star Wars was built on. It was basically Flash Gordon meets Kurosawa.
Yeah.
Right? So I didn't have so much an issue with that. It was when it became... Western. I was one of those, though, that was kind of like, oh, so you're going to do that now with the whole Luke thing when he showed up. That's kind of when it lost me. And then on top of just the behind the scenes bullshit politics. And, now we have a better idea of what happened behind the scenes with the whole Blood and Bones situation, shining light on what Kathleen Kennedy was up to and when she decided to, refocus back on Star Wars and whatnot. But I don't even care about that anymore. Rhino's right. It's been dead for a while. I don't see it making a comeback. And we can't totally dismiss, though, what George did, because George is responsible, though. And I'm saying this in a negative way, so don't go right away and agree with me. George is technically responsible in a negative way for the way things are now, because the prequels is what set up the modern way films are distributed, the merchandising is done and all that stuff. But you are right. He did not price out any kids. That was his whole thing. Star Wars was made for 12-year-olds and the 12-year-old in everybody.
Yeah,
That was the thing.
Sorry, if I can just quickly elaborate. George also, and I've said this before on my streams, George was able to make Star Wars for normies, but keep lore and continuity real tight and deep for the hardcore fans. That's the real difference, right? Is I look at something like The Mandalorian, and people got enjoyment on the surface of it, But has anybody actually thought to themselves how a tracking fob works?
It's ridiculous. That's what
it
is.
The concept of a tracking fob. Have you really thought about when you think about how deep, that
changes
goes,
everything.
Think about it, and think about them through to conclusion. Okay, so what is it tracking? Is it tracking a chip that's been put in? If it's tracking a chip that's been put in, then Mando should know that because he's been using tracking.
Cut it out.
Why doesn't he just remove it? Okay, so it can't be that because he's not that stupid. Right? So is it tracking DNA? How does that work? How does DNA transmit a signal? Right?
What about midichlorians?
As soon as I start thinking about things like that, I go, they don't get it. Right? When Han Solo in Empire disappeared off radar, right? Yeah. And Boba Fett got thrown out with the trash, He came up with that plan because Han disappeared like that. He's like, what's he doing? What's he up to? He thought about Han's movements and what's going through Han's head. How is he going to get out of this? What's his only exit strategy? He wasn't able to make a jump to hyperspace, right?
He's a true bounty hunter.
Right? He bounty hunted. What tracking fobs do is they take away from the uniqueness of each individual bounty hunter now.
Yep.
Each bounty hunter just gets a tracking fob. Beep, 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 beep.
Yep.
Oh, we're over there. Thank you.
Yep.
Right?
And the worst part is how does it work? Because it seems like you could track anybody with that thing.
For me, that's destructive to the universe. And that was introduced in The Mandalorian.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Like, that's just how I see it.
And you would hope
you know what?
Yeah,
You're 100% right. The thing is that the people who do appreciate it or did appreciate it or whatever, they push back so hard, against the fact that what you're saying is actually right. It's like if you enjoy it, then enjoy it. But don't fight for people who are rightfully pointing these things out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know, for example, the Luke Skywalker thing. Now we talked about that on the Dark Council. A lot of us got emotional watching that. Like I remember explaining to the guys.
I was listening to you guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That a lot of that is tied into my relationship with my brother who's not here anymore. And we watched Star Wars. We watched everything, growing up together, so, and we always waited for the day when we would get to see what comes next. We even actually wrote some story. We drew some stories and stuff like that, and I wish that I could debate with him the ridiculousness of what's going on. He would be on camera with me today.
Yeah.
Because he was just so passionate. We were both, those little boys who grew up together. So when you got a scenario like that and you see, what they're passing off as Luke coming back that way, it's like, I know for a lot of people, it means different things. For me, it was like, where's Tommy, man? I need Tommy with me here to share this with, even if we're going to dump on it, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, so that's like what Star Wars is. Star Wars, it's meant so much. It's had such an impact. George Lucas will never know, all of the billions of people that he's touched with these stories for so many different ways. Right. But it doesn't stop the fact that what Rhino was saying is absolutely 100% true. And after you get through being caught up in the emotion of it, sometimes you do sit back and you say, well, yeah, they're not serving the story. It shouldn't have been this way. It should have been much better.
Well, again, the other thing that I look at with it, Mark, is think about how many times you've seen the OT. Think about how many times you've watched the prequels, right? Think about the hundreds, if not thousands of times that you've watched one of the original 6 Star Wars movies. Think about the rewatchability of Mandalorian. Think of rewatchability of, the Book of Boba Fett is just
garbage.
I don't know if I don't know if too many people did like it, but that was fucking shit. Like really fucking bad.
But on top of what you're saying, I could watch Force Awakens, even though I know where it leads. I could watch that way before. I could never watch the other two, the Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. I could never watch those again.
Well, I was never always like this. Let me tell you, when Force Awakens came out, I was kind of one of those people that was like, it's Star Wars, it's going to be good, or it's got to be good.
We all were.
I was kind of one of those, right? And The Force Awakens comes out. I thought it was great. I actually really liked it. I thought it was really good, right? And every night when I'm going to bed, I would put that movie on, right? Yeah. So that no matter where it was in the movie, whatever, I was getting as much out of that movie as I could to make sure I've got enough for the next movie.
Yeah.
Right? I was trying to catch up on my watching of that to where I was with my prequels. I was putting it on every night before bed. Not just to watch the whole movie,
everything
but just to go to sleep to them. Right. Like, I'd fall asleep halfway through the movie or whatever, but I'd put it on. And, it wasn't until The Last Jedi and I started to look a bit more into it. I knew about the EU. I never read too much of the EU. I know that I'd read a couple of books already, but nothing massive. But it's amazing how much my view on Star Wars has changed with the evolution of Star Wars through Disney.
Yeah. It forced you to look in other places to enjoy it, man. It really has. I don't mean to cut you off, but I got to read these.
No, go.
And I want to real quick I just want to bring up the shills real quick. Adam Wolford for $6K. Me and my wife with our 2 kids can go visit my kids' grandparents in Japan, stay 2 weeks, still have enough to catch up on bills. That's craziness. And then you have Storyman Jack for $10. Thank you, Storyman. He is a channel member and a great dude. Great channel. Check him out. Really great writer. Gentlemen, this is what they are doing. Wheel of Time, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and many other stories of hope are being destroyed. They want everyone to identify as a victim.
Well, it's funny that you make that point that everyone wants to identify as a victim. You look at, can we have a villain, please? Hollywood?
A real villain.
Can we just have just a villain that's evil that we can look upon and go, that is one evil motherfucker?
Yeah.
Like, can we just have that, please? Not the misunderstood villain.
Right.
Not the one that's like, oh, his heart was in the right place.
Right.
I gotta,
Cruella.
Yeah. No.
Yep.
Can we just have a fucking villain, please? And can we have some genuine heroes that have had some great progression through their own stories to take these fuckers out?
What do you think, Culture?
King Joffrey was the last one we got. King Joffrey and
yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I can just keep
Ramsay
talking.
Snow. Ramsay Snow. I know. Don't worry,
Oh
man.
no,
I don't get to have you.
That's the problem. They have to make these villains likable or misunderstood because a lot of these idiots who are doing this shit find more in common with the villains than the heroes. That's why, because they're so self-centered and it's all about them. And they try to twist this bullshit narrative out of it. And that's why I hated shit like Maleficent.
And
I didn't even bother with Cruella.
Yeah.
And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I've had so many people go, oh, you need to watch it before you comment. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck in what context it's in. If they actually have a scene where her fucking family gets killed by dogs and that's her motivation for the future, then they clearly misunderstood 101 Dalmatians.
Yes.
It's pretty fucking sad when the Simpsons got it better in a fucking parody than they got it in their fucking multi-billion-dollar fucking movie or $1 million movie. You know, almost $100 million movie it cost, and it fucking flopped because Cruella doesn't give a shit about what it is she's getting. It's about the fact that it's unique and she's not supposed to fucking have it. Doesn't care if it's a fucking dog, a crocodile, or a fucking snake.
Right.
As long as it's fucking something nobody else has, that's what she's all about.
Right.
She's
I feel like
such a fucking villain that she's willing to kill an innocent
Dogs,
fucking
puppies.
puppy for it.
101 of them, guys. 101
But I
of
feel
them.
like what happens is Hollywood notices the reactions, possibly the hyped reactions of some of the fans about some of the things, and then they overdo it, right? And my best examples of that is Thanos, right? He was
That's why I was going to bring that up too.
He was the last best villain that I think that we really did have.
But
right?
see,
where
the
it
thing
wasn't
with-
like we thought he was misunderstood. We just understood
We just
what
understood
his
him.
motivations were.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So he was the last best villain that we kind of had. That hype for, oh my God, Thanos is awesome, right?
Right.
He wasn't awesome. He was awesome as a villain. We loved him as a villain. Not that we loved who he was. He was wrong or whatever. Anyway.
Right. But he had his reasons,
But then what
right?
they do is they go, oh, they saw him as a misunderstood villain. So they went too far with the thought process.
We all need
and
one
now.
now.
They're doing that with everything.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And it's been the same with everything. I mean, you look at the nostalgia bait that they're throwing in. You know, the nostalgia was done well in Spider-Man. I haven't seen it yet because, you know, obviously my government won't let me go and watch a fucking movie. But like, I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh, no, Spider-Man. Nostalgia done well, apparently. But then, like, people go, oh, we're going to get all these people in. So then, you know, we've had the announcement, of course, of Michael Keaton coming back in as Batman. It's like they're now trying to overdo it, but the story then gets sacrificed for that.
For it.
Because
well, look
it is now is it's about the nostalgia bait. Or it's about... It's just about putting it in the screen, and it doesn't matter. It's going to make money.
Well,
Doctor
Doctor
Strange go and
Strange.
see it because it's there.
Doctor Strange has like 1,000 cameos. They're saying, like everyone you could think of is going to be in Doctor Strange, and it may be good, but You never know.
Sorry, my point is that us as fans need to sort of take a little bit of responsibility in the way that we react to these things and the way that we make sure that we're getting these points across. Like, we want to make sure that they understand that we liked Thanos as a villain because we understood what his motivations were.
We didn't feel for him.
Not because we sympathized with him, right? Because
evil for the sake of evil with no directional purpose isn't what we're asking. We're asking for someone who is evil, that we get, okay, this is the reason why we're evil. We disagree with it or we agree with it. It's irrelevant. We just want a proper
understand.
Antagonist.
Well, not just that, they almost misunderstand what makes them evil. Like, take Thanos, for instance. We just brought that up. It's not the fact that he's going to snap half of existence out of, half of people out of existence. It's the fact that the extent that he's willing to go to get to that goal. Right. That's what makes him evil.
And you know what? On top of that, they are trying to, people are making videos trying to even retcon, like us feeling for him even more, because they're like, well, look at Eternals. He knew that if he didn't kill half of the universe, that Eternals would, the people's planets would blow up and die.
Fucking Thanos committed genocide to get to his goal.
Yeah, but now they're trying to say he was stopping Celestials from being born. He was actually doing something good. Like, oh my God.
Is that what Eternals is trying to say?
That's what people think Eternals now says.
That noise.
See, this is where it's like, I just don't understand the creators in this.
Yeah.
Like, especially due to the fact that Kevin Feige's been there the whole time. He can clearly do it well. He can do it well enough. He's proven that. But he's choosing now to go down this other road, and it's so weird to me. Because the reactions, the good reactions that he's getting to these changes can't be nowhere near as big, nowhere near as massive as the reactions that he got from Infinity War.
Right.
Right? I'm not going to put Endgame in that same category because I think Endgame was a real downfall after Infinity War.
It doesn't hold a candle. I mean, there's some great moments, but it does not hold a candle to Infinity War. Not at all.
I don't know. Again, I'm sorry. I can just talk forever.
I know you can, but I love it. We never have you on, so it's
trying
fine.
To just one more point about trying to understand the villain. Do you guys think that a lot of that started with Anakin Skywalker?
Oh,
I never thought about that.
We came to understand him, but it was a tragic understanding.
Right.
It wasn't glorifying anything. Anakin's fall was terrible.
Right.
Mark, I think there's
because you knew where he was going to end up, and you saw the point where he was going well, and you think, shit, he might turn this around, even though we knew he was never going to do it. That's the tragedy in that character. It's the understanding of the ending, not understanding he's meaning to turn evil. That's That's why I liked it. That's why I liked it.
It just seems like it might have been ahead of this wave of what made this villain this way. Before the villainy.
Right.
It just seems like that's a lot of
I think through the culture though, surely it's played inspiration for creators after that have made movies and stuff, like for villains and stuff. It's like, let's put a bit of an Anakin Skywalker twist on it. Let's make it a bit of a tragic downfall. Right. Because you see inspiration through everything. I mean, George was inspired by stuff that was made, prior. I'm sure through the line there's been inspiration there. The problem is that all they're trying to do now is completely replicate things, but then instead of actually even replicating it, it's done where they've got to change it. It's like they want to do the same thing and they want to get the same reaction, but at the same time they want to change it.
Well, they want to change it enough where their identity politics gets involved.
How can you expect to get the same reaction if you're going to fucking change it?
Right.
Exactly.
Change the formula. It's like the hero's journey. It's like people say that Rey's had a hero's journey. I'm like really?
Right.
Really?
Or the confusion of Kylo Ren ruined him being the villain.
Keep telling yourself that.
Yeah.
Well, there used to be these movie rules, right? It didn't matter how much you liked an individual or disliked an individual. Certain things would happen to them in a movie. Like, let's say you really like this protagonist you're watching, but we know that they accidentally killed somebody early in the film. Guess what? They're dying at the end. That's just the way it's going to go. No matter what they do throughout the film to redeem themselves, that's just the way the movies used to go. They kind of forgot that factor, right?
It's like
you actually have you actually have
this
exactly. Thank you, Mark. That's a prime example. Thank you. And here's the thing is, because even though you're rooting for Joe at the end of the movie, you're like, he fucked up. You know, he
had to go. You knew he had to go.
It doesn't matter, right? And that's the thing. And I see that throughout this idea of making the villain sympathetic is because you actually have a generation and a group of people who actually think it's okay to kill people in the name of your fucking politics or beliefs. Right. So there's people that can actually sympathize with an individual who will actually kill somebody to in the name of their beliefs or principles.
John Wick.
Yeah. Well, and that gets us to Batman, because that's one thing.
Well, that's what I was just
Batman from a lot of other heroes.
Right.
And that is, no matter what, at least in the modern take on the character, he refuses to kill. Doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter the reasons. Doesn't matter if they deserve it or not. Because the Joker, that's something that the Joker in his newer version too has always tried to push Batman to do. I'm going to make you do that one thing you refuse to do. Right. No matter what, I'm going to make you compromise. Exactly.
Well, this is a big test. This Batman movie is a big test for Hollywood right now. If they exactly what we've been talking about. If they've got to do a good villain, they're like
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
Better be fucking pretty damn good, right?
Right.
But Bruce. I'm still a bit iffy on Pattinson.
See, I've supported him the whole time.
That's my biggest issue right now.
I don't know. He could do. I don't know. Could he do a good Bruce Wayne? I just don't know.
It depends on the Bruce Wayne that they had a vision of. Like, I think the guy's a good enough actor where he could play the dual roles. I mean, he went from, he was a sparkly vampire.
You got the kid out there going, did you realize that Batman is the world's greatest detective?
He's messing with people, I hope.
I bet he ain't.
He's a great actor.
I've seen a few trailers and a few things, and look, I'm definitely intrigued to see it. But I'm also not a big DC guy. But they've still got I've watched all the fucking Batman movies. It's not like I haven't, but they've got to hit a home run with this movie. Right. And I don't know whether or not they can or not, and I don't know whether or not Pattinson can actually hold up the Batman, and we'll see. I mean, people said the same thing about Affleck
and Christian Bale.
The same thing about Heath Ledger as Joker. There's been so many
of these
as Batman. It's been so many of these castings where it's like, nah, that's not going to work, and they blow us away with their performance. So you never know.
What do you think, Mark?
Well, Batman is just such a fertile material right there as it is. You know, it's like you'd have to really try to mess that up. I mean, he's just such a great character. I just really wish that we had gotten that Affleck Batman. You know, because
definitely
because he really, to me, he brought that character that was it, man. You know, I saw him and I was like, that's him.
That's rage.
The way and he can do that, man. Much like Robert Downey Jr. It's like he has demons.
Yes.
You know, so you can actually see that in him.
Well, you know the thing that I noticed the most about Affleck, you look at it a lot deeper than I do in regards to his detective work and all of that sort of thing, and that's cool, right? But the thing that I noticed about Ben Affleck the most is how much his shape, his frame,
looked like him. Yeah,
looked like
he came from the page.
He looked like the animated Batman.
Yep.
He was so square in the shoulders and
the V in the back,
square face, and he was, to me, the best looking Batman that I think I've seen. And when it comes down to his Bruce Wayne elements and his detective work and stuff like that, you know, that's stuff that
I can see him doing all of that.
I do too. I didn't think I was gonna like him as Batman, and I still think if the DCEU wasn't as things going on as much as there was, I'm not ripping on Schneider or anything, but I think if he got to do his own Batman and he was all in on it, I think it would have been phenomenal. The dude's an excellent director. He's a very good writer. I want to support the Batman. I want to see this be good. The only thing that worries me.
Would he boot himself?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well,
I mean,
I'm going to
that's
see
the only
it.
thing that
was
worries
great.
me is self-deletion as well.
It
Yeah,
really
I'm going to
is.
see it Tuesday, so I'll let
I
you guys
boomered
know.
that.
but,
Sorry about that. I boomered
Here's the
the
weird
shit
thing
out of
is I
that.
noticed
Yeah.
that there's been a lot of division in, our age group
Oh,
about this
crap.
movie. There's been a lot of people who are like, been there, done that, seen that, because it looks a lot like, Nolan's Batman. The more previews I see, the more I'm getting like vibes out of it, and like this whole talk of like it's going to be Kurt Cobain Batman and all this
Right.
bullshit, and it's just like, oh man.
What worries me more, Tom, is the idea that Reeves wanted R and the studio would not let him. The PG-13 was the limit, and that's what worries me too.
Well, it's because Batman's their bread and butter, right? Batman is one of their big games, and they're not going to let them fuck. That's what's weird about this whole thing is how oddly adult oriented, and you're allowing it to be 3 hours long.
Right.
And what's funny is when the trailer initially dropped, a month later, the Dune trailer dropped. And it ended up outpacing the Batman trailer. There was at one point, it was like outpacing it by like 20 or 30 million views, meaning a month later, right? So it was like crazy. So I'm like, that's weird. There's like more interest in Dune than there is in the Batman. But then I've noticed the toys are out there, and I went to Walmart a week after I noticed them the first time. They're gone. So kids must be buying the fucking toys. They are gone. The whole shelf.
See, there was a
cleaned
bunch
off.
tonight. I looked before the show. We went to Walmart and there was a bunch, but you never know if they re-upped. But
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they could have restocked, but like I was just surprised at how quickly, because they had quite a few. I was like, holy shit.
And think about it. There's a lot of young kids that have never seen Twilight. So to them, this is just some actor that they've never seen any of his, indie type movies.
Batman, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But they're not
That's what I mean,
prejudging
yeah.
him for being sparkly Batman. That's all I'm saying.
Outside of Spider-Man, Batman is arguably the most popular comic book character.
Everybody agree? Yeah, I agree on that.
I haven't seen enough of Pattinson to know. Like I know that he's done Twilight. I've never seen him.
Well,
That's the problem, I think.
Rhino.
Too, Ryan. Oh, go ahead, Grant.
Sorry. I've seen every single film that he's been in. I'm a huge fan of his work. I was one of these guys who hated the idea of him doing it, and then someone said, "Just go watch his stuff." So I went out there to prove how bad of an actor he is, and absolutely fell in love with his work.
He's
apart from Twilight and that 9/11 film that he was in.
Yep.
Everything else, especially in the last 3 or 4 years, he's honed his craft to the point where if he's not a multi-Oscar winning actor by the end of it, I will be surprised.
I'm with you.
The problem with that, Grant, is the big problem with that, though, Grant, is nobody else has, right? Like the general audience has not seen The Lighthouse. They have not seen any of his other shit outside of Twilight.
Well, but you got to, okay, so I agree with you on that, but you got to give a guy credit who did Twilight, could have cashed in on being blockbusters and this and that, and he decided to go the indie route and work with really interesting directors and writers. Like,
well, he better like that indie route, because if this Batman don't work out, he's done.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And that's what I've been saying, and that's why I don't understand whether he's joking or not with all this press shit. It's like, look, man, this is your shot.
You gotta take it serious.
You are Edward Sparkle Pants to everybody else out in the normal world. So if you don't get this, if this movie is a joke, you might as well kiss any future career goodbye and just enjoy working in independent films, because that's where your future is going to be. Because Tenet was supposed to be his other launching pad, and that didn't quite work out that well.
Right. Let me just read this real quick. Adam Wolford, thank you again for $10, brother. I really appreciate it. We got over 100 likes on the show. I don't know, other than having like Gary on or something, if we've ever done that. So thank you to everybody. I really appreciate that. Breaking news. Everyone is going to be in Doctor Strange Cameo of Madness. Cameo Madness. I like that. All 6 versions of Spider-Man, The Shadow, Darkman, Duckman, but Chung-Li, isn't in the cameos of Madness, which would, oh God, Chung-Li, come on, man. All right. Any last thoughts? Because it's 2 hours. I don't want to hold everybody.
I just say that because, I mean, again, I have nothing personal against the guy. I just feel like if I was in his shoes, this is not too many actors get a second opportunity like this.
I completely agree with you, Tom. I heard him talking about like himself acting as like a detective. Like it was, I think it was in a press thing or something that he was doing, and it was just him talking, and it was over the top of one of the scenes, and he's talking about how like a person specifically tries to put like a glass down and how you can sort of tell something. I don't. Is he trolling when he's saying that, or is he like? He is. Because again, that's to me, that's just a form of attacking the fans. You're making fun of them. You're bullying them, basically.
Yeah.
You know, you're saying, look at you, nerd, in the schoolyard, right? You're so picky that you look at Batman looking at someone putting a glass. He's mocking the fans.
I mean, he did it during Twilight.
If he's trolling like that, and look, if he can still do it, and if he actually does it, good.
Yeah.
But if you're still just going to troll the fans like that, you're still a piece of shit.
I'll give you that.
You know?
Like, it depends on how it was done, his intent, and if he's a good Batman, people think it'll be cute.
If he's really saying this shit, like, I didn't know that Batman was the world's greatest detective and all this shit. If he's being honest, then no, you're 100% right, Ryan. Because that means he never was. He was one of these fucking like uppity, you know, like bullies basically in school. Probably, you know, he was one of these sports guys. A pretty boy, exactly.
Pretty boy.
He didn't read comic books. Probably never even watched the original Batman. Didn't have time for that shit. No. I mean,
he was too busy having pillow fights with all the friend zone girls he was with.
I remember Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin
Phoenix made similar statements in the run up to Joker.
Yep.
You know, and he was saying he really is not concerned with the character, you know, that has previously been. You know, he doesn't want to hear from the fans because I remember I had to do a video on that where I was cussing him out because of it. But then when I did the review for Joker, I started off by saying apologies to Joaquin Phoenix because maybe there's a method to that. You know,
I mean, it was the least like Joker out of any Joker performances. It was a completely different character. It was a great character, but it wasn't the Joker.
It was a riveting watch.
It was fantastic.
You know.
But Mark, did you forget, like, was that something that you're like, okay, now I understood what you meant? Like, because he did such a good job on it? Like, he did take it from a different point of view. Like, he went real dark with it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, the stuff he said beforehand, I kind of understand now. Was that how you felt about it after you saw it?
Yep, I did. Yeah. I understood where it was coming from. You know, now, of course, the criticism could be made that this isn't really our Joker, right? You know, and I could totally get that. Like, some people were saying they want to see that Joker incorporated into, you know, like the DCEU, and I'm like, I couldn't see that.
I couldn't see that either.
But maybe he could be.
I don't even know why it's getting a sequel.
But see, Joaquin Phoenix is such I reckon he's a great actor, to be honest with you. He gets into his role, like from going from things like Gladiator to Joker to even Signs, right? His actual role in Signs is almost the comedic relief, but he's such a serious character. It's so good, right? His performances are actually really good,
right?
And like whether or not there's a twist on the character of the Joker through the way he portrays it, and it's a lot darker and all of that sort of thing. Like, for how dark it was a great movie. I didn't like it because I just didn't like how it made me feel.
Right. It was dark, man.
It was really dark. But it was still it's a great movie. Like, I can still appreciate a great movie and not like actually.
Well, if you can detach yourself from the fact that it's Joker, I see it as this is basically the reason why it got the reaction it did from certain people in the media and other places. Is this is basically what all these woke motherfuckers are. Like, this is what they're becoming. And this is what I was talking about earlier about the whole justification of killing someone is like, you see this individual go down this road of where he goes to places that are obviously way beyond the line. And again, take the whole Joker aspect out of it because I'm not a big Joaquin Phoenix fan. I was not looking forward to this movie. The stuff I was hearing about it, I was not looking forward to because it did make one of the mistakes I was hoping it wouldn't. But I still had to eat crow and say, it was a decent film.
Yeah.
Great performances. Even being basically a blatant ripoff of Taxi Driver and King of Comedy.
Yeah.
It still worked. And I think because of the modern day is more than anything, because if this would have come out 5 years ago, I'd have probably just been like, it's just a ripoff wannabe kind of thing. But I think it was just so poignant at the time. Yeah, exactly right. I think the timing of it was so perfect.
I got to say this with like that movie. And
can you believe that movie made
go ahead.
Can you believe that movie made $1 billion without China and it's R-rated?
Right. That's insane.
And it's a crazy dark story.
And most people never went and saw that twice.
Like that's insane.
That was a
how
one
much
watch
money
movie.
That fucking movie made.
But what I was about to say is
Sorry.
kind of no, because it kind of goes with that too. It's okay. You guys were saying like I hate that he's saying this stuff when we're talking about before the movie. Some actor, like I'm sick of, except for like Henry Cavill, I'm sick of every actor trying to tell me they were comic book nerds and they loved it from since they were a little kid and they say all the right shit and then the movie blows. I'd rather have someone who's like, I'm not into this shit, but I'm taking this character in this direction and they knock it out of the park.
Well, they just keep insulting the actual fans by giving us the Tolkien super fans.
Yes.
Right?
I don't need
on fucking walls and fucking talking their to birth.
Yeah.
Birth.
I'm like so done with that.
I can fix Ham. I can totally fix that, Ron. If he's hot, I can fix Ham.
He's got that daddy energy.
Honestly, that is that's one of the most insulting things to actual Lord of the Rings fans.
Yes.
I think I've ever seen in regards to actually insulting.
That's why they put the word super in front of it.
And who in their right mind calls themselves a super fan?
Right. Nobody.
Like, if I wanted to put myself in a category, like I call myself a Star Wars fan, I probably know Star Wars better than a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Not other fans, like normies and things like that is what I'm trying to get at. I don't refer to myself as a super fan.
No one.
I don't think I ever have.
Yeah. You
I
love
love
something.
what I love.
You're a fan. You're a fan, right? I don't know.
You know what fan stands for? Fanatic. So you can't really get any more fanatical about something.
You're a super fanatic.
But you can. We put super in front of it.
It's kind of redundant.
I'm a super fanatical fan.
But you got to be careful you don't turn into a super duper fan. That's when it gets dangerous.
Tommy and the guinea pig.
How are you a super fan? How are you a super fan talking about, but I never saw me. They never showed people who look like me. Well, what kind of fan are you then?
Oh, Mark, you nailed it out of the park with that.
I loved it, but you know what I didn't like? I didn't like the fact that all the three women never talked to each other.
Yeah.
Like you loved it, but you didn't like. That's what you didn't like.
Yeah, you hated everything else about it.
These idiots don't realize that this is the equivalent of walking into a Chinese restaurant and going, I like the food, but it'd be so much better if somebody who looked like me was cooking it. And then just think about the reaction you would get.
Right. Right. I'm just look.
Jeez, I do something once, Tom, and you got to bring it up every stream.
Well, you do cook some mad ass Chinese though. I can't.
But it is one of those things, man. Like the idea that we're trying to sell an image when there are true fans out there that would give you an honest opinion, because no one wants the honest truth anymore.
Dude, if you think they're bad, you should listen to the Spanish one. Oh my God, it's even what they literally have no idea. They're reading off cards and they don't
I
even
had
know
the
what
boys
they're
check
talking about.
that out. Thanks for bringing that up, Grant. Yeah, we realized that they've done this in multiple languages.
Yeah.
So I told our Espanol boys, I said, Paulie, get the guys on it, double cross-reference it, see if they're just reading cue cards, because I have a feeling they are, and it's going to be the same exact responses as the English and all the other ones. And sure as shit, Grant's right.
That's messed up, dude. I mean, Saruman, like just the idea that something that's evil incarnate is a bad boy and you want to save him. Like, oh, Madon.
Yeah,
or I want to see queer representation.
He's got that daddy energy. You've got to save him.
I think, Mark, I love how you put it, Mark.
Mind. Like, even a female Tolkien fan, like full-on person, a female fan that sits there and goes, no, Galadriel should not be fighting. Yes, fucking they should have beards. Fucking a female character that says that wouldn't be sitting there going, oh, I feel like I could change him.
That's internal misogyny, Ryan.
I don't fucking care because it's fucking true.
You know what? I think I can give Smeagol something to forget about Precious for.
It's kind of like when somebody like uses the argument, oh, you're just nitpicking. Well, let me ask you a question. You might be right. I might be nitpicking. But is the nitpick relevant? Because if the nitpick's relevant, then your fucking little butthurt shit fucking self doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Because the point is relevant.
Yep.
So even if it's a nitpick, no one fucking, like, it's there.
It's not even, look, I don't know.
Well, we did one of the more recent videos we did is one of the ones that I'm the most proud of we've ever done, is because basically it points out that the hypocrisy of their whole idea of going through this Tolkien Society bullshit and trying to read into a bunch of shit that wasn't really there about Tolkien and try to pretend that they're doing right by Tolkien when he flat out just lambasted this writer for trying to make one of the movies in the 50s, and the shit that this guy put in there has nothing on this shit.
Right.
You cannot imagine how bad Tolkien would have just destroyed this show if this would have happened under his watch. Now, first of all, he wouldn't have allowed it to happen.
Right.
But Tolkien was always diverse. He would love this. Like, Tolkien.
He never talked about people's color or sexuality or anything.
He's simultaneously diverse and racist and bigoted at the same time.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, isn't it?
They did basically call him racist and the fans of classic Tolkien racist in that one article. Yes.
But you know what? We always got to go through this stuff, man. It's like, I always talk about how when I was growing up, I loved Charlie Brown, Peanuts and everything. There's always got to be some joker to come out and say, Charles M. Schulz was racist. I'm like, dude.
Then what the fuck was Franklin doing there?
It's like, I grew up reading these things, man.
Yep.
The philosophy of Peanuts. And everything. I saw Franklin and everything. I understand what he was trying to do with that character and stuff like that. He fought to have that character.
Yep.
So it's like, but this is what people do.
Yeah.
Whether it's Gene Roddenberry, whether it's George Lucas, whether it's Tolkien, they all say the same thing. They were racist. They were racist. I promise you. All right. Y'all know how much I love my son. I put that on my son. Never once when I was growing up did I say to myself, I wish there were more people who look like me.
Right,
I loved being immersed in the adventure, in the excitement. Luke Skywalker was so cool to me. When I was reading The Hobbits and Lord of the Rings, I was totally transported into that world. That's all I was asking.
The color of their skin didn't matter.
Well,
it was about those people as characters, right, Mark?
You just basically defined what it was to not be racist, and that is to be able to relate to somebody even though you may not look like them or come from the same exact background, right? That is the definition of not being fucking racist. And talk about Charles Schulz being fucking progressive. Tell me that Peppermint Patty ain't a lesbian. Come on, and we know Marcy is.
Right. But the idea of us taking those words, Mark, and we belittle what they truly mean. White supremacist, racist, we belittle what those words really entail, and now it's just it's a throwaway thing you say at somebody to piss them off.
That's why it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah,
it's like,
and that's the scariest part of it all.
Yes,
that's the scariest part of it all.
Hey, Nazi went from the point. Do you hear that word much now? It doesn't get thrown around too much anymore because it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Right. When I was a kid, if someone was said, if that was said, it was about a real Nazi. You never use that term.
Well, that's what the first episode of this season South Park was about, that whole thing.
It's
about
crazy.
How they're overinflating these things and using shit like that they shouldn't be.
Right.
Because it's you do realize how it would be like me going around and saying, oh, this is bullshit. It's like 9/11.
Right. Well, it's I've been
January
watching
6th.
Right.
It's like January 6th.
I've been watching the histories Abraham Lincoln and people ripping down statues of Lincoln and stuff like that, even though the man was an abolitionist or had those ideas, but he realized that the country was falling apart, so he didn't right away try to free slavery because he was just trying to hold the way we have changed history and changed terminology to suit what people's agenda are today. We have disrespected what people have gone through in the past to get to where we are today, and it makes me sick.
Oh, we continue to disrespect history.
Yeah.
Right now, we continue to disrespect history. Whether or not the people that we're disrespecting were racists or not, right? Whether or not they had slaves or not, it was a completely different time. It was that we've learned from history. We've learned from some of the mistakes. We've learned from some of the good parts of history and the bad parts of history. And guess what? We got a panel of couple of Aussies, couple of white older dudes.
One is probably gay.
They're called devils.
We're white devils. Yeah.
That's why I did videos a long time ago talking about how I feel about tearing down statues and burning flags that you don't agree with and everything. I was like, you can't, like, these SJWs, man, they need for people to believe that history just started yesterday.
Yeah.
Like they're the ones who's responsible for it. They're responsible for all of the positive changes. It's like going into a cave and seeing hieroglyphics and you just scratch out the parts that you think look offensive to you.
Right.
It's like it's interesting. It's fascinating.
Yes.
It's like when you
How did we get here?
Star Trek.
They're all a fucking goldfish, Mark. It's not that their history didn't start yesterday. Their history starts when they open their eyes every morning.
Depending on how they feel.
They're a fucking goldfish.
What were you going to say about Star Trek, though, Mark?
Sorry.
Well, when they go exploring strange new worlds and everything, it's like so much of that is like, seeing the history of these things, seeing the development. Like, I mean, they had the Prime Directive where you don't mess with people's development and everything.
Right.
You have to respect history.
Right.
You have to respect where people have been,
even if you
where
don't
they
agree,
are, and where they're going.
Yep.
Right. So you can
Even
be
if your
proud of the fact
technology
that
can save them.
Yes.
Yep.
You have to have faith in humanity.
Yep.
But these people, they peddle the most like intense form of pessimism, where and they're mean-spirited.
Yes.
Where they want you to believe that all white people are oppressors, all black people are victims. Nobody is better for that.
Right.
It's a disease, a social disease that they're putting out there, and it's infesting everything that we watch, everything that we listen to. And if we don't push back against it, we only have maybe a couple of generations to go before we're unrecognizable to ourselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I love my son way
there.
too much to go for that.
We're getting there. And I think big problem of it is just that that goldfish mentality that you're talking about, Ryan, and it's that they feel like they have to be important. And as I keep saying, I'm sorry you think you're Christopher Columbus, but Leif Erikson already discovered it before you got here. You may think you're the first one, but you're not. And that's the problem with this society. And we also have another problem is that it is more difficult to get your voice out there. I never take for granted, and I realize how special it is every morning that I get to wake up, and when I'm not editing and doing all the daily dad stuff and the daily life shit, that I actually get to sit here and talk to you guys like this and these awesome people out in the chat, and how amazingly impressive it is that there's that many of you guys out there listening right now, because you know what? We're at a point in history where there's more people alive than that have already died previous to us. Think about that for a moment.
Freaking amazing.
That's how many people are in the world right now. Like, if you go back in the grander scheme of history throughout the 2,000 plus years that we've been keeping history, there's more people alive right now than have died.
Yep.
So of course you're going to have to do a hell of a lot more to get people's attention, to make a difference, to do things. But you know what else that tells me? It tells me that there's more than enough of us, that this is bullshit. If we work together, we could get so much more done than ever before. And that's why we've gotten to where we're at right now in the last 100 years, is because we turned around, we looked at each other and said, you know what? There's enough of us now to do all the heavy lifting. Let's figure this shit out. And our forefathers got us to the point where we went from the industrial age out of, like from the Stone Age to the Iron Age to the Industrial Age to now we're in the fucking computer age. We should be in fucking space. Why aren't we in fucking space? Because instead of working together, we just started looking at each other and going, it's your fucking fault. No, it's your fucking fault. Well, it's your fault because you're fat. Well, it's your fault because you're this color. Well, it's your fault because you're gay. Well, it's your, and then we've had this fucking massive problem for years and years and years and years where we just turned on each other.
We keep bickering over petty shit.
Yeah. It's I think these next two are good. Everything is racist anymore. And race no longer plays a part in it. It's all about the politics now. From Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective, thank you for the $5.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the super sticker. And then Storyman Jack for $5 says it great too. All those words, the N, the R, the WS words just mean stupid head, because they are children who have no argument. And I used to have this old timer, guy I work with. I'm sorry, Culture. A guy I worked with who just passed away recently, a mentor of mine, used to say, and I used to kind of say it at the end of my videos. It always made sense to me. He said, when they start calling you names, they already know they lost the war. Like, if you're calling you names, it's because they have nothing else left. They have no argument. They're just going to call you names. It's the truth.
And that's
Go
and
ahead,
that's,
Culture.
No, that's actually a salient point because I do that all the time. This is courtesy of Monkey Jeebus, by the way. I was like, wow, that's a pretty cool.
You know what? He looks more like the dude from Andy Griffith and
Don Knotts.
Don Knotts. He looks like Don Knotts. That's fantastic.
Andy, we're down here in the Ukraine.
Not allowed to say that
early.
That is so funny.
Don't show this again.
Okay.
Long show. Have you usually ended by now? It's my fault.
Oh God, yeah, 2 hours.
I just
usually.
talk.
Dude, it's all right. I rarely have you on. I love that, Mark. I love you always be. Saturdays are now, Mark. You're always invited. Dude, you're here. I love it.
Dude,
when you can make it, please make it.
I'm trying to get him back. I'm trying to get him back on my Sunday show. He's in the chat. I just he's just busy. Mark.
Yeah, just don't steal Mark. And Tom.
I don't steal Mark.
And raging. I want them all. No, thank you, everybody.
Speaking of the check bounced, Scott.
It's the next one's in the mail. It's not made out of rubber. I promise.
Yeah, but always.
This one was from your wife, so I'm not sure there's any more I can accept.
Oh my! Damn it!
When it comes down to name calling,
send you the other one. The account. What? Huh?
I was gonna say Scott's right. When it comes to somebody calling you names, it means that they didn't have anything to their argument in the first.
That's right, dickhole.
Yes. So, so raging. You got anything to share? You want anything you're plugging?
Can keep it under 10 minutes.
Yes, I can. I can keep it under 10 minutes. I do want to share something. I'm going to turn this into a short. This is for my newest video that I just finished editing yesterday. Ryan Kennel, RK Outpost, has a cameo. Unfortunately, you're not going to see any of that cameo in this little clip that I'm going to show you. But I'd like to play this. I did a Boba Fett video. I did a Boba Fett video, which has been doing actually quite well. And the shorts that I put out for that have been doing quite well. And it's all pretty much based around how they destroyed Boba Fett in the Book of Boba Fett. And I'm doing a similar thing with the Luke Skywalker episode from the Book of Boba Fett. So there's a little clip from that. It'll be coming out. It'll be premiering on Friday for us here in Australia. So Thursday night for all you guys.
Nice.
But here we go. First, let's do a... Oh, are you getting sound?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry, let me just go back. Well, first, let's do a quick recap on Luke Skywalker's life. A farm boy stuck in the Outer Rim, wanting to move on to bigger and better things. An adventure. Finds out his father was a Jedi Knight who fought in the Clone Wars for the Republic. Sees his home, his aunt, and uncle all be destroyed. Decides to go on the adventure and learn the ways of the Force like his father before him. Throughout 3 movies, we see a farm boy turn into a student, turn into a Jedi Knight, and save the galaxy through the redemption of his father. Not to mention, finds out the man he thinks killed his father is actually his father. And throughout all that, he fails and learns from those failures.
That is why you fail.
A man who sees good in the most evil man in the galaxy, his dad. And even though he beats Vader in combat, he turns down the Emperor and doesn't turn to the dark side, which makes Anakin turn back to the light to save his son, destroying the Sith and bringing balance back to the Force. It's such an epic story. That's all you're going to get.
Oh, it should go right there. Until they fucked
You should have said there were spoilers. I didn't know anything about the whole father-son lineage thing.
It's funny. His dad?
But that's just sort of like the beginning setup to like breaking down the actual episode and everything. So that should be good. It's quite a long breakdown. It's a bit of a longer video, but it should be really good. So that's what I've got coming up. And other than that, I do my weekly stream, which we missed last week, but it's usually every week. Again, Friday afternoon for us here in Australia and Thursday evening for you guys in the States. So,
thank you.
Please come over, subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, man.
Sorry for making this go way too long.
No, not at all, man.
I think I kept that under 10 minutes.
You're excited. Thank you for being here. Stop in, man. You're always invited. Mark, anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I just want to say that was awesome, bro. That was awesome. I love it. You know, I started getting the feels there, you know?
Yep.
But, you know, yeah, absolutely. Definitely Mark with a C, come by the channel. I'm just always, you know, going crazy about something, you know, but always talking out of my heart, you know, passionate as I can possibly be about these things because we need this, you know, we need to be able to reach out to each other and know that it's not just us, you know, there's more of us out there than they would have us to believe. And that goes across everything, Star Wars, all these social things that's going on out here. These times are crazy, so we need to be able to identify with each other and where we are, so we just know what's up. And of course, catch me on the Dark Council, my Dark Council brothers. Next Wednesday, we are on Fatal J's channel, Wednesdays, 8:30 Eastern, so come through, join the party. And thank you for having me on.
Thank you. No, anytime, man. Thank you, guys. Tom, thank you as always. Thank you for being here. Culture, my partner in crime with Mr. Grant Gregory too. Thank you, guys. Thank you to everybody out there. Culture, you got anything to?
Oh, yeah, you did. Never mind.
What's that?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Culture, you have the cultural review tomorrow.
Yeah, Sunday mornings. Well, for me, it's morning, but for others, it's later in the day, or for Rhino, it's the middle of the night or early in the morning.
Yep. And Mr. Grant Gregory, when is that interview coming out with Mr. Drunk 3PO?
It just all did. He did.
It came out this morning.
Oh, my bad. I was working. Sorry, I missed it. I'm going to go watch that right now. I hope you guys watch it too. And to my channel members, thank you all for being here. Love you guys. You support the channel. Have a great night, everybody. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye to everybody. Did I say the thing right at the end?
I think you did, Tom. There's a new check, I promise.
It's the Sporking room.
And it has pictures of me.
It's the dawn. If you were smart, you won't be smart after watching the dawn.
Good night, everybody.